Oi, oi. Yanni.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, that's a deep voice, man.
Time for sexy time.
I don't know where Yanni is because he's not answering.
Yeah, he most probably started the room and then disappeared. He might be on mute. But I suppose we'll get this party started as soon as we hear from Yanni. Yanni. Is he there?
Hello, Yanni. I'm in the telly. I'm in the television.
What the fuck do you want?
Hey, there he is. Welcome to Munchkinland. Follow the yellow brick road.
Yes, my little brother. Mini dude. He's miniature dude. Oh, but then there's my old cousin as well, so you know. Anyway, we're here. And we're yes. Again. Yes, we are. We're here. How we doing, everybody? Welcome to the House of Lords, another fun-packed episode of the three of us shooting the shit, fundamentally. And what we're going to be discussing today or tonight or whatever time it is where you are is a pandemic of fear. Is the world facing a pandemic of fear? That's what we're discussing. Yep. It's an interesting subject, mind, isn't it? Fear.
I mean, it covers a lot of different aspects.
A lot.
Yep.
And what should be lost for fucking?
What should be what?
The first question that comes up is, how long has this pandemic just started, or is it been for a long time when we haven't seen it?
Ooh,
you have to recognize what a pandemic is, though, don't you?
All right, so we're going to break down the pandemic first.
Well, I mean, if there's a pandemic of fear, which we're alluding to the fact that it appears as if that might be the case, then one has to, first of all, distinguish why we would use the word pandemic, of why we would say pandemic of fear when we can just say there's just loads of fear. If we're saying there's a pandemic of fear, then we are hinting at the fact that there's a somewhat of an urgency, something that has to be addressed, because pandemics normally... Sorry, I'm just trying to switch something off. So normally pandemics have to be addressed. So it's just something to consider when it's a pandemic. If it's just like, there's a little bit of fear in society, well, it's just a little bit, you know what I mean? Everyone they'll get over it, it's all right, they'll grow out of it. But if we're talking about a pandemic of fear, then it's like, well, ooh, that means the place is gripped with it. We find it in every facet, every stairwell, every corridor, every front room, dining room, kitchen, every school, hotel, hospital, every government building, office block.
Do you know what?
You know what I mean?
I had this weird thought in my head, was like pandemic, and when it's like pandemic, it's like pan. You cooking it. Is it something cooked, prepared for the world? I don't know. It's a weird thought. Sorry.
Food. Why are you thinking of food at this moment? But never mind. Let's talk about that later.
It's an interesting point, though, because you got pansexual as well, isn't you? You know, those.
Oh dear. Why are we going down this slippery slope?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're there. It's all right. I've got like one of those mats. And
And
I'm
mats
off.
that stop you from slipping.
No,
you're
one of
actually going on there, slipping,
I'm on
like,
it,
on
mate.
purpose,
I'm
mate.
doing it deliberately.
You know, you're doing one of them, like, what's them, slip and slides.
Yeah, I'm all
Right.
over it. Like stink on shit. I am.
Like stink on shit.
Yeah, you know, pansexual people that are infatuated with kitchenware.
Pansexual. Kitchenware, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tupperware. Especially the
Teflon pans is their big thing.
Oh yeah, exactly. And then, and as for them sort of like what in them glass with the silica, they go fucking crazy.
Oh, they do, don't they? They love that kind of thing.
Especially
Proper get
like
their rocks
almost, yeah, like rocks off, underwear dropping, all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Iano.
It's nuts. Yeah, what?
Thank you for coming down the slide with me, mate.
Yeah, you're more than welcome, bro. More than welcome, bro. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun.
But yeah, well, if we're talking about fear, right? If you turn on any TV, right, and their news, what are they portraying? It's an open question to the both of you. What is the news portraying?
Wouldn't it be an element of they're portraying an element that suggests that the average schmo doesn't want to. They're suggesting that the world is in a place where the average schmo is required to be head on a swivel, look a bit above their grade for assistance, because what they're seeing they can't quite get a hold of. Their heads are spinning because one thing's happening, and just before they can even get a grasp on that, they're shown something else. And then just when they're thinking, all right, then, well, let me just quickly see what this thing is doing, and I'll get back to the one that they showed us last week. And just when they just start to get into that one, there's a news flash that tells them, hey, by the way, I know those two things happened before, but guess what's just happened just now? So now they're hooked on that. And then their conscience tells them, wait a minute, what happened to that first person? That happened there. And then now the one before this, right? I'm still hooked into that, but then they've given me this. And so it's a bit of a crazy, topsy-turvy journey, roller coaster, emotion, ride of fear. That's what they're portraying. That's what they're showing.
Are people crippled by fears?
I mean, Marius, what do you think? Because I could go on forever, really, but yeah. What do you think, bro?
Well, in fairness, I haven't watched news for quite a while now, so I wouldn't be up to date with how the news are being delivered nowadays. So I can refer to how I'd seen prior to 2020. How did I see the news prior to that, and especially at the beginning of 2020, right, when the pandemic, so-called pandemic, happened, right? And I agree with you, Yannick. There was a lot of spread of fear, left, right, and center, from 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, till late in the evening. It was all about death. It was all about viruses. It was all about accidents. Pretty much all the news that can put people in that fear of uncertainty of everything what they knew prior to the time that we were going through in 2020.
So
because no one knew what to expect from that particular virus, and if there is any chances for anyone to survive, and you know what I mean. It was just the way the virus was introduced with the information that they were giving to people is the fact that it mutates so fast. There is no way we can find the cure, and you name it. I mean,
okay, so look, I see. So that's a form of fear. Well, and then Carl just asked, does it cripple? Right. Well, in my humble opinion, based upon my observation at that particular moment in time, right? If I were to say, let me say this. So the observation was manyfold, but the very first observation was, oh yeah, kids ain't got a problem. First thing that was said. First thing, nah, kids run around with this crap all the time, it's no issue. Second thing, so there's me not concerned about my children in school. Second thing, or my child in school at the time. Second thing was the sort of updated chart thing. There was a site, and it had a massive sort of graph of the planet, and on the left hand side, it had red numbers, which were infections, and all the spots on the planet where the infections were popping off, right? And where I don't know where it was, but where you had the red spots, right, showing where people were infected, right, and it showed you just showed you the areas of where it was happening. But you know what? See, when I first saw that graph early on, when I first saw that site, I saw both sides. I saw the red and I saw the green, yeah, and I saw the green side, and it just showed what I'd expected it to show was recovery, right, at an even rate. Yeah, after it had started, but still recovery at an even rate. So I thought to myself, all right, so there's nothing to worry. Now, if you're just showing the red side spells what? Danger. Red, we're programmed to think stop, danger, fire engines, So the numbers are somehow red, and then the healing numbers are green, and we seem to associate green currently with healing, the better, and the grass.
Unless you're that twat Bill Gates.
Who
thinks
that wanker Bill Gates.
Chopping trees down is good for the environment, the fucking plank.
Yeah, that is he's a plank. He's a plank, because think about it. Trees give us oxygen. Chop it down, there's nothing to give
He's
us.
a plank.
That's just another plank, right? Bottom line. So yeah, we told you, you're a plank. Well, yeah, we'll deal with that later. What was I going to say? Yeah, so it would appear that the side of where it comes out of comes from people focusing on the negative, focusing on the pre-programmed scenario. So it was always going to work. If you always associate red with danger, red with stop, and red with all of that, if all of the signs on the street are red when it tells you you can't go, there's a red cross on red line, right? Red's been programmed in you. So then a lot of the people are going to be looking at it and go, oh my God, right? And even though I looked at the red numbers first, I did, because I looked at the red numbers first, but then I looked at the green. And then I never looked. I watched the website for about a few minutes, and then I never looked at it again, because it confirmed what I thought it confirmed. That was just showing flu. Anyway, in my opinion. But the point of the matter is that was a tool for fear. Originally it wasn't a tool for fear, but what happened was you had other people go up to the site, record just the red side, and then put that out for people. And I just looked at it and I thought, man, really? And then people like us who saw that stuff early, they're like, yeah, fuck them, mate. They're just like one or two of them. The rest of them don't know anything, so we'll just keep on doing it. So right there, you have a tool for manipulation, which resulted in fear. Yes, people were crippled in fear because they couldn't make a decision. They couldn't make a proper decision. They couldn't make an actual, a normal, valid, It wasn't. That didn't happen. They reacted.
See,
go on.
Yeah. What we did there, right, is that we fell down a little rabbit hole and saying sort of like people like the collective, and the collective didn't. The whole entirety didn't. There were many that did, but not everybody. I speak from first-hand experience because I thought it was fucking hilarious. I was actually quite relieved, really, that I hadn't spent 20 years believing in some conspiratory shite.
Right.
So yeah, we are. Oh, some people are going to get burned. I didn't care. I really didn't. It didn't stop me doing anything. In fact, I thought it was kind of cool because the streets were empty, everybody was freaking out, and I was outside enjoying the weather and doing everything I usually did with far less people about.
Precisely. It was fun.
So for me, it was great.
It was fun. Yeah, it was. I won't lie. It was fun to be out there. Do you know what I mean? Not many people on the road were like normal. I was like, wait a minute, really? Out and about. Do you know what I mean? Walking down the street, I could walk down the middle of the road in my neighborhood. Loads of people, not even trying to step out. Not even trying to step out.
No, wouldn't even go out. Wouldn't even go out.
I'm like, I even did a tune. I did a house tune, right? with me saying, what? You're not going to go outside? What? With all your friends? With all that stuff? You're going to stay at home and do nothing? Bollocks!
The weather's beautiful outside. Get outside.
There's no smog. If there was ever a moment to go outside,
it was then. Yeah, it was then.
It was then.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Do you know what I mean? And the funny thing about it is this. You could have some people listening to this. Yeah, but it wasn't that irresponsible. Yeah, it would have been. If everything was as it was portrayed, maybe so.
No,
that's what I got to say.
Fair enough. Yeah.
If everything was like it was, yeah.
Maybe so. But even then, even if it was,
even then, you still going.
I'm still going outside. Because I'm living my life. Hang on, because I'm living my life. Right, I'm not going to spend, if it was going to be potentially my last day, no way am I going to spend my last day quivering and shitting me pants. No fucking way. No, I'm not doing that. Not at all. I'm going out sledging. I'm going out on my bike. I'm going to have a great time. Right, and when it all kicked off, right, I don't know, a few months in, myself, my wife, and two of my daughters, right, we got something. Felt like just really horrible flu because it crippled my wife and I for about 3 days. My body felt like it had been hit with a brick everywhere. And, but yeah, we got through it. Fit as a rain. A few days later, some good, healthy, organic food. Right as rain. Right as rain. And all those people that got the Jabberwocky, they all started to get really sick, didn't they? Yeah, it's terrible, that. It was, yeah.
But you know what? Again, we're talking about, when you're here with the House of Lords, and we're talking about fear. And we're going through the many aspects of fear and the way it touches humanity. And it just so happens that recently we've seen a prime example of how a lot of the West, Anglo-Saxon West, were crippled in fear. Now, that fear wasn't based upon something that they knew. It was based upon something that was given to them at the time. Based on a situation that was shown to them at the time. Now, because of the nature of what was shown to them at the time, they felt a possibility of loss. They felt their lives could be in danger. They felt this and that could happen. And so there were others who were like, well, I'm not going to be able to earn money if I can't stay inside. I'm not going to be able to. So there was fear of not earning money. There was fear. And so people put themselves in the line of fire as a result of it. Now that's making a decision under duress. Fear.
Jones, before we go any forward, because we study with, defining pandemic, have we established what a pandemic is?
Yeah, it was a bag of shite. That's what it was. It was a bag of shite, and that's all I'm going to touch upon it. I'm not going to get deep. I'm not going to get deep. I'll leave it to you two. I'll leave it to you two to explain what a pandemic is. But for the record and for the world out there, it was a bag of shite. That's what it was. It was a bag of shite.
It's a pandemic.
It was a fucking pandemic and a fucking corona live virus. That's what it was. Right? And that's my stance on it. But what about all these people that got sick? People get sick all the time. People are dying all the time.
Every year.
Every day. Every day people are dying. And let's not forget, right? Let's not forget how they dressed up all the shit. Let's not forget how doctors were struck off and nurses were struck off when they turned round and started telling people that they're changing the death certificates. Let's not forget that. Yeah? Let's not forget safe and effective, because it's fucking not.
But why was all that? But my thing is this: you mean to tell me that all those motions, right, all those methods, safe and effective, blah 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 blah, these are all weapons. These are all like instruments of fear. Instruments of projecting fear.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I will add is in 2020, when all this started and all the crap, and I was staying at home, obviously, because my business was crashed. The chauffeuring, there was no chauffeuring that in that particular time. It was like all dead. And I came across a Romanian doctor who was talking about all of this virus, so-called virus. But he came to a point where he addressed that one of his colleagues, when he questioned the death certificate, right? Because that's what he was questioning. He was questioning the death certificate. Why would you put coronavirus, you know, the COVID-19 being the cause of death, when never in the past, never ever in the past, they used the virus as the cause of death in any death certificate. Doesn't matter if the person had cancer and flu at the same time and the person died, he would be put that died from cancer, not because of the flu. Flu may be that added to it, but it wasn't the cause of death.
Oh, yeah, they already had a deficient immune system.
Yeah, but what the guy was mentioning is when he questioned one of his colleagues, why is this happening now? The other colleague mentioned to him that they received a letter from the World Health Organization where he instructed them to put as cause of death COVID-19 for any patients that dies.
You're right to bring that forward, Marius, because also here in the UK, it came to light that hospitals are actually getting paid a dividend for having corona on their death certificates.
Interesting.
Isn't it just? But the world forgets about that kind of stuff, doesn't it? Because, you know, they've got short attention spans.
So there is no conflict of interest there.
You know, and now we're constantly shown, going back to the news, right? We're constantly shown fear, division, civil unrest, frigging this, that, and the other, and everybody's labelled something if you're not adhering to something, and then you're some form of extremist nut. And at this stage of the game, I'm laughing my arse off at the world, really. I mean, I love the planet, and I love people, and I love all people, fucking crazy people. Right? It's just a crazy world. It's filled with otherness, right? But I'm not going to lose no sleep over the numbers rising and falling. I'm not. Oh, you're so heartless. You're detached. No, I'm not.
Insensitive.
Not really. It's called emotional maturity. That's what it is. And being able to accept the reality of the situation and not being emotionally manipulated by it. So there's a massive streak of immaturity running through the species, isn't it? To the point, there's people in the world now that think it's fucking flat. I mean, what we've gone back to dark ages. Was it not a Barack Obama, right, that got caught saying that, you know, all you got to do, right, is flood the market with enough nonsense, enough shit, enough conspiracy stuff that the truth is lost amongst all the noise. And that's what we have now. Just a bunch of headless chickens running about clucking. Is that harsh? Or is it truth?
It's both.
It's harsh and the truth.
It's both.
That's it. We're all there. Oh, this is going to be a nice episode. I hope you enjoy yourself. Strap yourself in. If you're triggered, why? We're not sorry. We're not. Well, I'm not.
You know, man. He caught the virus.
It's like this idea that we're going to live forever. So you never know when
but
your last
are we
moment
gonna live
is.
forever? Are we gonna live forever?
Well, no, I'm hypothetically speaking, right? People think, I'm gonna live until I'm an old person. Are you? You sure of that? Are you positive? Are you positive that you're gonna do 90, 80? Are you positive? Are you sure? Because my mates that have died, right? My mates that were in the forces that have died, my friends that have died, midlife. Well, yeah, they had plans. They had plans. They had kids and wives and husbands, right? They had plans. They were doing stuff next year, right? They were
holidays planned.
Yeah, they had holidays planned and all sorts, extensions and all the rest of it, and that's it. It's done. That's it. Your card's been punched. You're out. And you never know when that's going to come. Never, ever do you know that's going to come. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, unless you're looking at the barrel of a gun and they're just about to shoot you in the head. Do you know what I mean? Speaking of that, more fear. With the whole Russia scenario. Terrorists now in Russia. Armed militias running about shooting fucking people. Innocent people. What we do? You got to have a boogeyman, ain't you? You got to have a boogeyman. All the time there's got to be a boogeyman. The news has to push the boogeyman. Right? And at this stage of the game, it's just like, really, I don't believe nothing that's on this. It's like you're just full of shit. They're all full of shit.
How are you supposed to believe anything? How are you supposed to forget? Actually, wrong. How are you supposed to know anything if people aren't telling you anything that's real, telling you anything that's true? It's that simple. Forget.
I like what you did there,
Exactly. Yeah. Because I'm gonna reaffirm that to the listener. I said, stop. There isn't a thing about, look, when you hear something on the news, and you've got that statement that says stop believing everything that you hear, right? Well, if you believe everything you hear, then you're not hearing anything at all, and you're not certain, and you're not 100% positive in the comprehension of that you have literally verbatim the truth of what went on whenever it was portrayed by whoever it was. You just don't. And there's not a lot out there that's helping with that. So I can see why fear gets kind of like drenched in part of society, because there's that part of consciousness society that's looking for, oh wait, this is happening, well, what do we do? What's the best maneuver? Because I don't know much. I work in, I've done that for like 20 years. My hobby is fix aircraft, and that's it, mate. I go Butlins every sort of June for 2.5 weeks. We go to Scotland to see the family, to see the missus's family for 5 days over Christmas, and that's it. So no, I don't know anything about the other stuff. Right? I don't know anything about it, so I need to be informed of that. And then if I don't get the answer, now what? I'm scared shitless. Why? Because they've not given me an answer. They've just told me all the possible worst things that could happen, and I'm so scared I don't even know where to look to see whether there's any solutions. I don't even realise there's any natural solutions, let alone because they've done a good job of scaring me on the news. They scared me in my car when I was driving to work. And when I was leaving work, I jumped back in the motor. It scared me again. I got home, told the wife, hey wife, what husband? I'm scared. How'd you get scared? They scared me on the radio going to and from work. Let's watch the news, we'll be all right. Watch a bit of telly, we'll be all right. Watch a bit of telly, everything's okay. Emmerdale ends, and then the news comes on. Now they're scaring you and your missus. Right there.
But don't worry about it, because Gladiators is on next.
Then you'll be fine.
Then you'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? That's where we're at. Oh, I don't want to know about that. Just let's watch this. All right, and are we making light of fear? Are we? Yeah, I am. I think it's fucking ridiculous. All right?
Well, you got to make light of it, because otherwise what? It wins.
Of course it does.
There's nothing to fear except fear itself.
Eddie
Murphy
said that.
You you brought a great word into the discussion that adds to fear, because you brought the belief, and then you observe yourself, and it's like, no, it's about knowing, not believing.
Believing.
But the thing is, when you look at the word belief, it's like putting your trust on someone else because you don't know it. You have to believe someone else.
Right.
And it's like, okay, so put your trust on someone else that you don't even know. How far do you want to go in believing others?
Right.
It's that principle that I used to do on another radio show that I used to do, and it was I don't even think I should bring it up. This whole fucking notion of fear. It's
you
just
make us curious, and you say you should.
No, you know what I mean. We can probably get what it is. But...
it's like you're pandering.
Yeah.
Right? People are pandering, and people are in fear for speaking the truth, for expressing themselves, for going against the narrative. I'll give you an example, right? You got fucking Greta Thunberg, right? School dropout, basically. Yeah, I am going there. Fuck her, right? You got Greta Thunberg, right? Oh, I wish I remember the other name. I hope this lady comes to me, right? Now, she's a world leader in...
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, climatologist and everything else, right? She's got qualifications coming out of her ears. She's got 150 pages of well-studied, well-frigging done documentation on why human beings are the cause, right? Or the contributing factor.
1974.
Yeah.
Why they're not the contributing factor, or are the contributing
well,
factor?
we're not the overall contributing factors of what. Yeah, why it basically. Right. I'll give you an example, for instance, right? You know, it's just nonsense, right? You've got this pubescent twat, right, named Greta Thunberg, that's backed by business and big frigging interest, given some kind of certificate of professionalism, right? And then you've got somebody that's been a professional since the 70s, right? The world leader in her field, and she gets no airtime at all. Why don't she get no airtime? Because she thinks it's all bollocks. The data shows
it's not backed
that it's
by
all
the West.
Yeah, because the data shows that it's all nonsense.
Yeah.
So she don't get no airtime. Now she's the professional, but now we're taking advice of a school dropout that, by all sense of purposes, had to go to a special school because she weren't emotionally wrapped right. It was all a bit much. She's one of them. Do you know what I mean? Needs a safe fucking space.
You know what? And here's what's so interesting, gentlemen. It's quite it's not coincidental that she's related to one of the groups. Well, just we'll say one of the families.
Mm-hmm.
Top there. Yeah, you know what I mean. So,
well, she's the niece of. Again, is it one of the Rothschilds? Is it one of the Rothschilds? She's the niece of one of the Rothschilds.
Yeah. Connected there in that way. So, but the thing is this. Look, at the end of the day, what's the elephant in the room? The elephant in this room is us not paying attention to the fact that why the fuck are you going to do something like that in the first place? Hey, when you dig into it, it wasn't Susie's kid from down the road, little sweet little Angela, right? It weren't her, who's got nothing, who's got no qualms. You know, there's no agendas. He goes to school with her mates, down the road, right? It wasn't that kid. It wasn't little Alan, little smart kid that won an award recently for bravery, helping an old lady, the dog, the cat out of the house before the house really caught fire. Kid was walking past, smart little kid. You know what I mean? Grade A student. Parents proud, right? No, but it wasn't that. No, was it? It wasn't that person either. No, was it? Why wasn't it an average individual? Why was it not? Why did you need one of them? Why did you need somebody that was actually connected to that lot? Why? So you could completely cover the narrative from start to finish. Just from an observation. I could be fucking wrong, and if I am, I'm good. I'm wrong.
Is it because
not wrong? If I'm
a thing?
Pardon?
Is it because nepotism is a thing that it's actually?
And if nepotism is a thing, look. I'm not going to turn around and say nepotism hasn't helped me. It's probably helped us all at some point, in some way, shape, or form, right? And that's not really, whatever. The point of the matter is that why would you go to those extremes to to carve a narrative using the words of a child, going against the hard and fast years of data. Going against the hard and fast years of data.
How dare you?
Of the professional in her fucking field.
How very dare you?
It's like getting a kid and go up against that QC. Yeah, you got it, mate. You can argue. You've argued with little Billy down the road, mate. And you had him for a bit. Yeah, you're ready to go up against the QC. Yeah, we're going to the Old Bailey. Yeah, right. It's just you and him. What? Yeah, he's the best. He's the most knowledgeable judge in the country. You'll be fine. You're a kid. You'll be fine. You got this. Go on, in you go. Yeah, you'll be talking about law. Do you know anything about law? Law? What's the law? Yeah, you'll be fine. Good. That's it. Be inquisitive. Yeah, go in. And then it happens. And it's on national telly. And we all know what happens. Kid says a couple of words, he's lost. Right? The QC's looking. He comes in, but he sees it really is a child that knows fuck all, and then that's the end of that.
Absolutely.
Right? That's it. That's the end of it.
No, but how much footage have you seen where she's not scripted? They try to keep that stuff real quiet, and they get rid of that stuff real quiet. You know, when the ambush journalism and everything. Hey, Greta, what? You know.
Yeah.
Exactly that. She's a child, right? That don't know her ass
She's
from her
a
elbow.
victim in all of this. I'll be honest with you.
She's a tool. She's a tool. She's not a victim. She gets paid well. Right, she's not a victim. She's not a fucking victim at all. There's no victim at all in this girl.
Well, as a child, what can a child think in regards to that? That's what I'm looking
but
at. I understand what you say.
If she got her ass kicked for not going to school, then you'd may think, she had to go do something. But no, she's not a victim. I don't want to go to school because I just don't like.
Well,
it.
What I meant by that is that her parents are involved in all of this, and she's being pushed into it.
Her parents are related to all of the above.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But so how's she a victim? She wants to do it.
She wants to do it. She's loving it. She's on the boats. She's on the jets back and forth. Yeah.
She's on the jets. Yeah. She's in there. So it's like, well, I mean, she might have a certain look when you see the cameras on her. But trust me.
At the same time, I'm gonna ask you this: how many children out there, if you would tell them you're gonna influence the world, is not gonna do it?
What do you mean they're not gonna do it?
Fucking children would give their right arm to be in a position to influence the world.
Some children would, yeah.
And not knowing that actually what they're doing is not right thing because they don't know. They can't see it.
Well, there's no right or wrong.
I mean? I'm not saying I'm not here to protect her. I'm just saying I'm looking from the perspective that it can be at the same time, as you say, Carl, is a tool, and a tool meaning that the tool doesn't know what it's doing.
But the tool is crafted for a particular job. Right?
That doesn't mean the
chisel.
tool has
You're
a
using
choice.
a chisel to chip away that wood, and
here's the thing. Here's the thing about. Sorry, Yanni. Right. Here's the thing about choice. She had fucking choice, mate. Let's not kid ourselves that she didn't have a choice.
Okay.
All right. Let's not do that. Let's not try to pretend that she didn't have a choice. Right? Because she did. I've seen the documentaries. I've seen the fucking stories. Right. From the get-go. I even saw the bullshit fabrication about we need a poster per, the Al Gore, we need a poster child. We need a face to push this.
Yeah, and then voila, all
of a sudden you've got this girl sat outside, right? The story is, the official story is, right, she was sat outside on the streets, right? And somebody walked past her and thought, yeah, you could be the face.
Yeah, no, it don't work like that.
Okay. But the question is,
no, don't work like that.
There's the question: if the person is unconscious, do the person has choice?
I don't care. I'm going to be honest.
Okay,
I don't
Hang
want to have any kind of philosophical conversation about that little twat.
Well, look, here's the thing, right? So, because that's very, I get it. Yeah, position based on this one, and it's all good. So, look, Marius, hit me with the same question.
If the person is not conscious, does he have a choice?
Right. Do they have a choice if they're not conscious?
Yeah.
So, first of all, we have to identify what it is to be not conscious. First of all, what is that? What does that look like?
Aware of the fact that they do have choice. Most of them, they don't know they have a choice. Like the ones that they took the vaccine, they didn't see that they have choice. I understand what you're saying, but
again, I don't agree with you. I don't agree.
I don't even share for you to agree with me, Carl. I'm just presenting another side.
I understand that, but what I'm getting at is that I don't adhere to that. Every person on the planet has choice. It's a fundamental law of the universe. We have a choice. We have a choice, right? And like I said in the other podcast, right? I'm no professor. I'm no doctor. I haven't been to Yale since '77. I haven't got a doctorate and a PhD. But I would certainly consider myself more informed on matters of this world, on how it was really structured, than most of the professionals that claim that they do.
Isn't that an advantage?
Is it an advantage? But how did I come across that information? I had choice. I chose not to listen. I chose to pick up a book and read something else. I chose to question what was being told to me. I had choice, just like every other human being on the planet. Your choices may be shit. It's either shit or shit. They're your options, but you still have a fucking choice. The end result is like, I either do what the gunman tells me what to do, or I tell him to fuck off. The consequences of me telling him to fuck off is getting shot in the face. I still have choice.
Right. I see what you mean.
Yeah, you see. So the fear.
You know that I don't disagree with you anyway. What I'm saying here is, prior to 2018, for example, I take myself as an example. Prior to 2018, I wasn't exposed to what I'm exposed in today's world, right? And I was pretty much just getting along with life, trying to figure it out. What the fuck is that all about? What's all this system? That system is not working anyway, but I couldn't see, I couldn't point, I couldn't, put a finger on it until I started to become aware of certain informations, like you said. And then I started to connect the dots and realize, now I start to see more clearly now. Okay, I can see the illusion, right? That is created by the system. And to be unconscious, purely just be a cog in a wheel and just thinking you have a life, but you have no fucking life. It's all manipulated by the system. You have no fucking choice because it's manipulated by the system. Because from the day you're born, you already started to be programmed, started to be indoctrinated by your parents and by your peers, and then you go to the education system, and then there you go. You get fully exposed to it.
Again.
And programmed.
You have choice. I mean, I'll skip school.
What I'm saying is,
once
when
I
you start
realized
to get set, what I wanted to say, if you let me finish to the point, what it happens sometimes, you go through something in life that starts to shake you a bit, where you start to question it in a different way. But a big majority of the people, they don't go through that. They don't go through that aha moment. I mean, between the three of us here, we've been through different things in our life that actually shook our reality and made us look at it a different way. But a lot of people that we are connecting with around ourselves, at least from my observation, they have no fucking clue.
Whose fault is that then?
Well, I agree with you, Carl. It's only our fault as individuals.
There you go. So they had choice.
So it sounds as if they're choosing to walk into fear then.
They're choosing ignorance.
It sounds like, yes, they're choosing ignorance, and then when something happens based upon ignorance without knowledge, fear.
Yeah, and the same, the example that you gave, Yanni, about how is it possible for someone like Carl, about Greta Thunberg, to have such an impact in the world. How is that possible? And I was looking at it like, well, it looks like a test for the humanity to show how unaware and unconscious they are in their choices.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know something, we come to a 45-minute mark, and I think we need to hear about the mind gym. So if you wouldn't mind, gentlemen, and then we'll get back to scheduled programming.
Maris, would you like to introduce the mind gym?
Why not? Why not?
Go for it, my
well,
good man.
I'll put it in this way: we live in a great time. I know some people may say, "What do you mean? This is not a great time. There's a lot of shit going on around us." Well, it may be so, but we live in a great time because now it's another shift in our journey as humans. A shift towards technology, AI, totally different world. A shift that actually pushes the humanity, pushes the human beings to come to the awareness that they have to improve their minds. They have to learn how to use their own mind, because our minds are powerful. Unfortunately, because we've been exposed to the education system, which has been proven by Dr. George Land and Dr. Beth Jarman through the experiment that they did between 1968 and 1995 for NASA. They concluded that at the beginning of the experiment, the children that they started the experiment with they were between the age of 3 to 5. So they gave them a test, creativity test. And they found out that 98% of the children were highly creative. And I'm talking here, I think there were like 1,600 or 16,000 children that they selected for the experiment. So 98% of the children were highly creative. But every 5 years, they went back and they gave the test again to those children. So at the age of 10, they discovered that it dropped down to the 30% of them being highly creative, from 98 to 30%. That's a huge drop, don't you think? So Dr. George Land, actually, he has a TED Talk where he explains that what happened is the children got introduced to the education system that it's very convergent thinking, left side of the brain, meaning learn and apply, similar to the AI. Program the AI and it will do it 24/7. Well, going further with the experiment, by the age of 15, when they went back and did the test, it went down to 12%, and then by the age of 31, it was about 2% of the people that retain high creativity, and only a percentage of the 2% were actually using it, which is interesting. Well, this is where we realize that our brain has this right side of the brain, the divergent thinking, that is not being used as much as it used to. As they say, if you go back 1,000 years from now into the ancient Greek and you bring one in today's world, it will be a genius, because they had a different education system. They used to use their mind differently, creativity being part of it, because our minds are designed to go in a flow state, to work in synchronicity. The left and the right side doesn't mean equally, in synchronicity. So when that happens, we go into a flow state, meaning we start to tap into the quantum field, meaning we can create anything and we can find solutions a lot faster. And if you are curious to find out how you can get your mind into a flow state, feel free to tap into Mind Gym Club, mindgym.club, which you can find on the Apple Store and on Google Play, and find out for yourself.
Ignite your vitality. Meet the LifeSpring Gold Card, a quantum leap in wellness. Revitalize your bioenergy, boost stamina, ease aches, and improve your mental focus. Shield yourself from electromagnetic frequencies emitted from cell phones, laptops, and other smart technologies. Restructure tap water, revitalize food, and harmonize everything around you. Elevate well-being with LifeSpring, made in the USA. Order today from VanessaElston.com.
There you go, gents.
Well done, Marius.
And we're back.
Yeah, well done, Marius. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you've had enough of being psychologically and mentally lobotomized by a system that was deliberately programmed to make you a tard, download the app.
Yeah, it's. I mean, how much more can I say about the app now? Just to give a little bit more. Well, imagine having a community where, when they make decisions, they're not focused on the self, meaning benefiting from the others just for the self, but to live in a community where all the choices and decisions that are made by the members of the community benefits everyone else around them. How the world would look like. Seriously.
It'd be a lot better, wouldn't it? It'd be it would be different than what it is now. There'd be, I feel like there would be, excuse me, just burping, kombucha. It would feel more harmonious, would it not? Would there not be more harmony in others?
It would, wouldn't it? And that's why with the Mind Gym, what we do at Mind Gym, we help people. As we say, we are in business of helping people. That's what the business is about. It's in business of helping people.
Not manipulating?
Manipulating, yes. Manipulating.
But positive people. Manipulation.
Look at this. Manipulating people in developing their own personal philosophical belief system.
Is it their own personal philosophical belief system?
Yeah, it's a choice. It's a choice. That's a choice. You know that? That exists.
So it's not a but what if somebody came out and said, well, yeah, but if you're trying to help, if you're sort of manipulating them to push their own choice, isn't that a form of brainwashing, because it's like, look, I believe in these things, yeah. And then somebody goes, go to the Mind Gym. And I go, all right, I'll go to the Mind Gym, right? And I don't know nothing about it, right? So I'm going to say, just go to the Mind Gym, mate. You want to stretch out you go to the
I'm going to say this, Yanni. I'm going to say this. Isn't also
Yanni,
the same
Yanni, mate? Listen. My name's Fred. What's going on?
Fred. Listen, Fred. Yeah. Fred, I'll tell you this.
Right.
Well, look at the world that we live in today.
Yeah. It's cool, isn't it?
Isn't that done through manipulation?
Well, I'd say coercion.
Well, I'm asking you one thing. Are you happy with the world today?
Am I happy? Are you?
I am. Actually,
you happy with all this?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because that's what it takes for the human to progress.
Hang on, Beryl, there's some lunatic on the radio, right? Exactly.
Right, hang on, can I chime in, right? Because this manipulation shit's crap, right? Because it ain't manipulation.
It is, right?
It isn't manipulation. If somebody comes to you
I'm just fucking around.
Seeking help. No, this is for Marius as well, right? If somebody comes to you seeking help and you turn around and say, right, I can help you, right? This, that, and the other. Right, this is what's going to happen. Okay, so you ready for that training? Yes. then it's training. That's what it is. I'm not manipulating you. You're asking for a service and I'm providing one.
There you go.
Right? Because I am not prepared to train anybody that doesn't want to.
Right.
I'm just not going to do it. I'm not pushing it on anybody because everybody has choice. This is what I do. Are you interested? Yes. This is what's going to happen. You're going to be triggered. You're going to be upset. You're going to be flustered. You're going to be flummoxed. You're going to feel like your brain sometimes is falling out your fucking ear. Right? Because you need to unpack all of the indoctrination that you've been through. They're the ones that manipulated you.
Yep.
Not the Mind Gym app.
Yep.
All right. That makes sense, mate. That makes sense. Beryl, let's get involved with the Mind Gym app. What do you think, love? What do you think? What's that?
Hang on, have I got a ladies one? Apparently.
What's that? What do you think? Beryl, what the fuck are you?
1, 2. Apparently that's meant to be a lady, but it's not. What is it, Fred?
But Beryl, the Mind Gym, let's do it. It's positive, it's progressive. That's what they said, it's progressive, yeah.
Is it?
It will help with the mind.
Ah.
Do you want to do it? Shall we do it? Because I didn't know what was going on, and then some bald professor started explaining shit.
Gladiators? Can we do it after Gladiators?
After Gladiators?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, mate. I'll tell you what. You put a brew on. I'll quickly grab some chips for us. All right, love?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. And then we'll talk about that Mind Gym. What's it called?
I want
Yeah, all that Mind Gym shit. Yeah.
What you mean? You mean?
And some Doritos. Oh, all right, I get them. Yeah.
We're not gonna see standards tonight because we have any standards to see.
I don't know what we're doing.
I don't know.
I don't know what we're doing. Right.
Just play it with the manipulation side.
Fear.
No, but it's fear. It's fear. Look. We're making. What we're doing is we're making lines of fear. Now, yes, I'm sort of all of us have, at some point or other have experienced some form of fear.
All right. Before we go down this particular
all right, then.
caveat, all right. I know you heard us jest earlier on. You heard me say I don't apologise for your triggering or anything. But this next segment, we might explore, right, personal stories on how one overcomes fear. Some of these stories you may find are fucking horrific. Okay? So strap yourself in, all right?
Yeah.
Where is it going? Going?
You might find it's horrific. You might find it triggering. You might find it covering all sorts because we're going down memory lane.
We're going down memory lane, mate. We're going down memory lane. That's what we're doing.
Wandering down memory lane, bruv. You know that road? Hey, you walk down that road and people start looking out. You see the curtains moving.
Twitches.
Oh shit! He's like, "Oi, switch the light off. No, it's too late. He's seen us." What's going on? Fuck, the House of Lords are outside. Shh. And in the background, some gas is being passed in one house. Billy, I told you. Fucking stop eating beans. I'm fucking scared. I would be too much. Stop eating beans, I told you. Shh, it's gonna expose us, Mum. Sorry, just you know.
We got off the rails. He's off the rails. He's
traveling, mate. Traveling on there. But anyway,
he's going down the memory.
So we're going. So we're going down memory. Well, we wanted that memory lane. Memory lane fear. I remember walking. Everything was sweet up until the day that a dog jumped up and bit me. A dog that I liked that jumped up and bit me above my eye, like opened up the eye, right? And right there, how old was I? 6, maybe 6. I think I was 6. I was fucking shocked, and then blood. There's been an injury. My eye was covered in blood. I had to go home, right? I want to go home. Right? But as I go on, but you know what? Afterwards, because that happened, there was a negative. Like it felt to me like a negative thing, like an injury. There's blood. There's some bloodletting, and it hurt, right, just above my eye. And I'm thinking to myself, "Fuck me, man." I mean, it literally jumped up and bit me in my head. When I think about it, it jumped up and bit my head. And the owner didn't do fuck all. And I went up, and then for a bit I was in fear of dogs. Why? Because I'd received an injury off of one. So I was in fear of dogs. So then I had to get past that. So every time I come home, there'd be this black dog that I had to walk past. Every
now
time.
I understand why you have a cat. No worries.
No, I love dogs. No, you don't understand. I love dogs. They love me. But I had to walk past this one dog. And I just couldn't do it a straight line. I would walk and then I'd kind of go around the tree and then carry on. I could never just walk down the pavement because of the injury, the eye, which even to this very day, I can run my fingers along my eyebrow the opposite direction, and depending on the barometric pressure will depend on whether I get a sort of a sharp sort of sensory thing underneath it. Yeah, even to this very day. But I over, somehow I'm trying to think of how it was that I then overcame fear of dogs. Because I must have just told myself, it's nothing to worry about. I must have grown a bit. Somebody's dog must have been cool. I thought, this dog's all right. And then it must have changed everything. And then I must have read something about, actually then looked at dogs, started read about dogs. It started going in and then started hearing about people's connection with dogs, and then start tapping into that. And then, looking at dogs a certain way. I wasn't aware that people train their dogs a certain way until I was aware. But it still didn't really matter. As I got older, it didn't matter. Yeah, I never had really a problem. People say, oh yeah, they train their dogs to not like people like you. I said, no, but dogs like me, so fuck all that. And I'm not going to put myself in a situation where it's just like lunatic city, so you know what I mean? But yeah, somehow I got past it because I think, I don't know, I just made a connection. Because what did I do? I learned something. Yeah, I got some knowledge, and I put all that knowledge together. And with that knowledge, I was able to ascertain whether a dog was being friendly or not. I was able to see the signals that the dog gives off because I didn't know those before.
Right.
And that knowledge allowed me to overcome my fear of dogs. And since then, I've fronted off dogs. I've saved dogs from other dogs. I've got in the middle of dog.
You can apply that to people as well, can you?
What the way you treat dogs like people? Oh no, I don't want to do that, mate. It's bad. It's not the way to do it, is it, man? I mean, come on.
What I'm saying, to recognize.
To recognize.
Yeah, to recognize the type of people that you can interact with.
Yeah. Yes, we could transfer that over to those types of things. Look at that. But the fear of the dog, the fear. I'm trying to think of an example as well.
What's with the accent?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Why? I am inspired. I can't understand why. Yes, but I'm inspired.
Yeah, it's funny.
But seriously, no. I mean, you know what I mean? It's no. I just wanted to do a perspective from something that happened when I was like a child.
But that's real fear, isn't it?
It is real fear, though. Yeah, total real fear, man. Shat myself every time I walk past this dog. I can't go near it. Why? And I was aware of it, and it would always be that moment on my day where I was like, oh God, here we go. If no one was on the street, I'd run past it. But if there were people walking on the street, I didn't want to embarrass myself, so I just kind of styled it out. Didn't want to see that. I didn't want people to see that I was afraid of dogs because I thought they might then take advantage of that.
Well, the important point is the fact that going through that experience, you learn something.
Well, yes.
You didn't have that fear of dogs anymore. You knew which ones you can approach, which ones you can stay clear of.
Yes. Knowledge was the key to overcoming fear in that instance. Can that model be mapped over other things? I mean, if you are a person who is afraid, if you're a person who's a little bit afraid of, let's just say you're one of them people who's afraid of them darkies, right? Then guess what, right? You better learn about the darky ways, haven't you? Right? You better learn where they live, what they eat, right? What they smell like, you know, origins and stuff, right? Because, do you know what I mean? Next thing you know, you're not afraid of the darkies after all. Everybody's cool. You're all living, yeah? You're all living as one kind of thing, you know. Darkies over there, us over here.
That's funny. Yeah, and it's funny tonight, isn't it?
I'm just being silly, mate.
No, that's all right. Well,
no,
you know,
but I was referencing. Here's the thing. I was referencing back in the day, right? Back in the day, I was just making light of something that used to occur back in the day, right? And you know, back in the day when nobody knew about each other because the governments couldn't be bothered to fucking teach everybody about each other. Yeah, it was a little bit of a thing. 1 minute everything's cool, next thing, man, there's people all around you, don't know the fuck they come from, where they are, whatever's going on. There's a lot of fear right there because things seem a little bit alien. Do you know what I mean? There's a bit of fear, right? And then depending on what somebody wants to say, what sort of rumors run riot, depends on how great the fear. Do you know what I mean? I mean, look at this. I mean, can you imagine that? There's this one fear that seems to be, I don't know, people don't say anything about it now. Not much, but it seems to be this, and it's not even a valid thing. But you know, there's fear. I mean, there's fear between different men and peckers size, right? Do you know what I mean? Back when I was growing up, there was a lot of people. Oh my God, it'd be like, oh, it's black geezer, mate. It's got a massive knob, mate. Fucking hell, mate. Shit the life out of me. Like, how are you guys scared? What? So you're afraid to go down the road? You're afraid to watch TV and watch Linford Christie run down and they do the 100-meter sprint because you're worried what your missus is going to say as you watch it.
I'm laughing because that was a thing. That was a thing back in the day. Linford do the 100 meters and watch him just twang from thigh to thigh.
Yeah, the lunchbox special. Yeah, mate, I tell you.
But equally, yeah.
Big up to Linford, though. Big up to Linford.
That's an interesting point that you bring up. You know, I mean, men's insecurities, right? That fuels their fear. Right, and you mentioned earlier on, right, about the dog facing other dogs and everything after that fear. You've got to face it. So experiencing fear in and onto itself can award you the freedom of it. As in the point I'm just about to make here. You know, when we were kids, we grew up with all those kind of cultural identities. You know, whites are this way, fucking Chinese are that way, fucking Turks are this way, and you know, the character traits. Not necessarily the character traits. The what's the word I'm looking for?
The
stereotypes. That's the word I was looking for. The stereotypes, right? And you know, you grew up with that, but it's not until you actually start living life that a lot of these stereotypes are just shit. It's just shit. Do you know what I mean? That whole rumor as well about, you know, the size of black men's penises, right? That's not fucking true either. How do you know? I've seen a lot of cocks. I'm a bloke. I served in the armed forces, for fuck's sake. I've seen a lot of cocks. Right, there was a time in my life where I was a bit promiscuous, go to all kinds of funky parties, right? I've seen a lot of dicks. And not all black people have got big dicks. Let's just have that right. It's not true, right? And not all Chinese people have got small ones, right? It's just not true. You know, we come in all shapes and fucking sizes. We really do. We come in all shapes and fucking sizes. It's that simple, right? And the moment you begin to realise that, the moment
it's your size anyway.
It don't fucking matter. It don't matter. It ain't even about the size. It's about the stereotype and the fear. right? It's just not fucking true. None of these stereotypes actually fit really once you actually immerse yourself into these cultures. Yeah, you get the fringe groups, you know, the typical stereotype, right? But however, you know, the moment you immerse yourself into these things, then you realise that it's not fucking true. It's just not, right? By first-hand experience. But the idea of fear, I'm fortunate that I grew up in southeast London in Peckham, right, in the 80s and 90s, right up to the late 90s. And I went to an all-boys school. And it was rough. You know, living in southeast London, especially in the late 80s and mid-90s, right, as a young lad, it was potential war every day. You could be having the best day, right? Could be having the best day, walk around one corner, laughing and joking with your friends, right? And there's a small firm at the end of the road. And instantly it's like, oh, fuck. Right? You either turn around, but if you do that, you fuck, because then they're coming. Right? But so you've got to walk through it. And you run the risk. You know, it's either going to go fucking south if you show the fear and everything. You're going to be in trouble because people pick up on it. So you got to face it. You know, and by facing that fear, I've been stabbed half a dozen times. I've been shot at. I've had a gun put in my mouth. I've been kidnapped. I've been smothered with a plastic bag to the point, you know, somebody was trying to kill me. The list goes on. It's like, you never know, going back to the earlier point, you never know when your last minute's going to be. So you have choice. Going back to the earlier point, you've always got fucking choice. You can either live in the state of fear or you can move forward. And by moving forward, you actually award yourself the courage and the strength of character to face things head on without the fucking addition of crippling fear. Fear is a natural thing. It's a natural body response, you know, fight or flight. Or fight, fight, or flee. Or what is it? Fight, freeze, or flee. Whatever it is. Right?
Fight, flight, freeze.
Whatever, yeah. Fight, yeah. All of that. Right? But the only way you begin to free yourself from this stuff is actually empowering yourself with the situations. You know, you go through life and life can be fucking scary. I'll give you an example. I used to go to the woods. I used to take my kids out on night walks. What do you mean night walks? Yeah, I take my kids and my wife out in the car, middle of the night, and we go to the woods. Scary fucking place, the woods in the dark, especially at night. But we'd walk. We'd go through the woods. The kids would be scared. Wife would be a bit frigging touchy too. And I'll tell you the truth, there is, what the fuck was that? There's them noise. What was that? But you got to keep going. Because the moment you realise most of the fear is generated within your perception of what could be, not what actual is. Then you free yourself from it because you're just creating a narrative for yourself of fear. Moving back to the point I made earlier on, you never know when your last minute's going to be. You really don't. Trust me, you really fucking don't. So why live in fear? Why live in fear? Why acquiesce to others because of a state of fear? Oh, I'm not going to say that at work because I might get sacked. Oh, I can't express this view even though it may be fucking true because people may get offended. That's not your responsibility. Somebody's sensitivity isn't your responsibility. It just isn't. You know, we're seeing on the news these celebrities that constantly get dragged up. Oh, you said this. Do you think that was sensible to say? Do you know what? I'd be more impressed if one of these people actually went on one of these shows, right, and went, do you know what? Fuck off. I'd be more impressed. I'd be more impressed if they turned around and said, yeah, I did say that. I did say that. And I think that too. Oh, but, you know, that's really offensive. Is it? Not from my point. What's really offensive if you want me to be less so you can feel fucking more?
Yeah.
That's more offensive.
Yep.
And we're seeing that roll out across loads of Western countries. Obey, 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 obey. If you don't, well, we could lock you up. Obey and pay. And if you don't, we'll lock you up.
But what, you're obeying?
But you have choice. You have choice. Regardless of the level of the consequence, you have fucking choice. And the moment you begin to realize your choices and stand within your choices, you begin to realize that people are actually quite pathetic. Because they won't challenge you, because they're actually shocked that you fucking said it in the first place. So speak your truth. We got people in the Western world now that believe we live in a fucking snow globe. We got people in the world now, right, that are getting people sacked from their job because they didn't use the right pronoun, because of how this person feels. Fuck you. How you feel isn't my responsibility.
Yours, mate.
That's yours.
All yours.
All yours. Yeah? Self-esteem is
Very
self-esteem.
Self.
It's self.
It's in the name.
It's in the fucking name. Your worth is determined by your point of view and how you feel about you. So that's my take on it.
And who's gonna take care of me then?
How about you? How about you take care of your fucking self? Stop asking all the world to be a bit less so you can feel more, you selfish prick. And that's what it is. We got news agencies around the world. We got teachers. We got fucking politicians. All kinds of people being proper narcissistic, selfish pricks. Trying to tell people what they should think and how they should feel. And don't say that because someone I don't know may get upset.
Someone you don't know?
Yeah.
Or you express a view and it's like, don't, it's express a view. And they're like, because it doesn't match. Connection.
Exactly.
Thanks for the disclaimer at the beginning.
I heard a bit.
Yeah. Oh, it is a disclaimer. Yeah. Okay. Are you triggered by any word in the dictionary? But if that's the case, why don't you listen to something else? And there goes our disclaimer. Thank you.
You know, I heard something only the other day, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Right, and it was one of the individuals on an app that we frequent, and they had to have some psych evaluation, right? And one of the questions in this psych evaluation was, have you ever written an offensive tweet? Or not a tweet, but have you ever written an offensive post? And the answer was yes. And when they were quizzed on, you know, well, what's crack with the offensive post? She was like, there's 8 billion people on the planet. Someone will be offended somewhere. And I thought it was fucking brilliant. Because it's true. Mm-hmm. It's true. You know, it don't matter how you're going to express yourself, right? Somebody will be offended. You're the wrong faith. You're the wrong colour. You're the wrong words. You're the wrong belief. You're the wrong political leading. You're the wrong fucking sex. You're the wrong gender. You haven't been educated enough. Whatever it is. Someone will be offended by your existence. And the moment you accept that, right, the better your life will become. You'll free yourself from shite. The moment you accept it, there'll always be someone, there'll always be some snot bubble out there, right, that will be offended. And they've got the right. They've got the right to be offended. They have. But it doesn't mean anything should fucking happen. Do you know why? Because nothing happens when you're offended. I heard a beautiful comedian turn around one day and touched upon a subject about offence and being offended. Like, nothing happened. It's like the comedian turned around and said, you know, I went to a comedy store last night and the comedian said something and I was offended. And when I woke up, I had leprosy. Never does that happen. Nothing happens when you're offended. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
Except for your own inner chemistry.
Right.
Isn't that a way of punishing yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Allowing yourself to be manipulated by somebody else's utterance. As in this case. Like, you know, people have listened to the House of Lords and people have thought, I'm offended. Cool. Means that you're paying attention. But it also gives you an opportunity to explore why the fuck you're offended and how you can emotionally grow so you're not offended again.
There you go.
Wouldn't that be better?
If you want a better world. Right?
Yeah, wouldn't that be better to develop the neuroplasticity and emotional maturity that you can circumnavigate the world and people's interactions without being manipulated emotionally by their utterances? Because if you haven't noticed, people are fucking weird. Right? And if you're expecting the world to kind of mold itself to your sensitivities, then you're a twat. And I hope you're offended. Yeah. Because it may be the catalyst for you to actually do something about it. Like grow a pair, grow up, fucking read a book, educate yourself. I don't know what it is, you know, ask your mum some questions. I don't know, whatever the fuck it is that helps you move from the pussy state that you're in into a more cognitive, insightful, articulate individual that isn't wrapped up demanding a safe space free from people's expressions that you don't agree with.
Or that person can also, you know,
download the
sign
mind
up
gym.
for the mind gym.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
But ladies and gents, it is about that time of the show where we're going to hand you over to the right honourable, illustrious, sensational, unforgettable, the man with the velvet voice, Marius, with What Comes Up.
What comes up? What comes up? You know, we talk about fear, you know, and you guys shared, and I was sitting with it, and I was like, what can I share about the fear? Well, if I get to that point of 2020, because a lot of people can relate with. As I was doing my chauffeuring jobs and all that, I started already to hear about a certain virus in China in my car because people were speaking on their phone how they're losing money over stocks because of some rumors about virus in China. And that was in January of 2020. So I found it interesting. I was like, virus? Okay. Didn't think too much of it. Then by the end of January, I had a nasty cough, nasty flu sort of type, which lasted for about 3 weeks, I think. Changed my voice and you name it, coughed my lungs out. And then in February, they announced the COVID-19. So because of going through that nasty experience, in a way, I started to fear for my family, right? Well, there is a virus. But in the other way, I was like, I've already gone through it. Definitely that was the one. So you can survive it. So there's two different ways of looking at it. You can look at the fear side, or you can look at the solution side. Because they both exist at the same time. So what you focus on, that will be the outcome. Why put yourself in a place of fear? How did fear ever help you? Well, it may have helped you in the past. It may have saved your life. So that means fear is not something that's not useful. It's a tool that we've been given in order to be able to survive, run away if there is a lion coming towards us, right? That's why it's there to keep us alive. but not to put us in a stance where we completely freeze and don't know what to do. We can't think for ourselves. Because when you face that fear, you see that most of the fears that we are fearing in today's world, they don't even exist. It's just a play of the mind through the manipulation that has happened for many years. Some say that fear stands for false evidence appearing real, which is one way of looking at it. Fear is not the enemy. We become our own worst enemy if we apply fear in a way that freezes us. How can that be a life to live where you're constant in fear and not exploring life and not experiencing life? What life is? You decide what kind of life you want to experience. But for that, you have to be able to be in charge of your own fears to move forward. And that's what comes up.
And there you have it, ladies and gents. Sorry, you caught me off guard there. What comes up with the illustrious Marius? Fabulous, mate. Fabulous. I like that. And I dare say some of them out there are mostly thinking, that the tramps. Carl's a bit out there at the minute. He seems to have changed his tone. I'm still very love and light in my private life with those that I care for. I'm still very insightful and philosophical and have a jovial disposition. I really do. However, in the world of social media and podcasts, it seems like they use like inflammatory expressions. You like opinionated people. You like people that are being vulgar and wagging their finger. And if that's the case, that's what you're going to get. Right? Because I've done it for years, the love and light, and I still do it very much in my private life. For fuck's sake, I train and teach people on the very subject. However, in this Parlatrix, this theatre of entertainment, the podcast, right? You just need to go on social media. And social media at the moment and people at large are giving me a very clear indication that I have clearly fucking elevated beyond the general masses in my thinking. Because I watch some of these social media lives, people send me stuff all the time. Somebody sent me one earlier on. And it was a bloke on a particular app doing a live. And I listened for 20 minutes. And there was 980 odd people watching, right? Fluctuating between 1,000 plus and then the 900. And it had 1.6 million likes while this was on. And it was the most vacuous, empty, shittest fucking in the matters of the world, the way the world is at the minute, looking at the world, right, had nothing to do with it. And people were lapping it up. People like shit. You talk about there's no real influence, there's no real people that are inspiring. Well, look what you did to Jordan Peterson, you horrible bastards. An individual that's trying to frigging elevate people to move beyond the construct of social conditioning.
All of them. Look at all of them that have stepped up and all that have said, hey,
what are we doing?
In case you don't realise, this is happening. And then it happens. And what? Nothing. You listen to the empty, flaccid
I love that. Flaccid. They are as well.
You know,
they're limp.
and yeah, and you're listening to that, and you're following that against your better odds against what's literally in front of your face.
It's I'm at that observational state, right, where I blame people as much as I love people. You know, people go, oh, it's the elite, it's this group, it's that family group, it's the Federal Reserve, it's the bank, it's this, that, and the other. No, it's not. They're just people that have got ideas, right? And you listen to them. Right, you got limp-wristed politicians, right, that are corrupt and bent, left, right, and centre, and they come up with some bullshit and dribble, and you listen, and you.
Well, you go Greta Thunberg.
and you do as you're told, and that's pathetic. Adults are doing as they're told. Adult parents.
Even though they know it's dodgy.
Yeah, even though it's dodgy. Well. Parents are doing as they're told. Grown adults, would you imagine that? People that got a job, mortgage, got kids, everything else. Listening to strangers and doing as they're told. Even if they don't agree with it. What's that? Fucking nation of frigging children. We've got a planetary species of grown children.
Yeah. Yeah, full on. I mean, literally. I mean, how is it that I can send one link in a text to people, giving them an opportunity for at leisure insight into what the fuck was happening all around them, right? Not a bunch of crazies, not a bunch of kids, snotty, spotty, sweaty little basement junkies telling you about the latest thing that they found on the dark web, some conspiratorial BS or whatever. No, all well-read, well-published professionals in their fields, giving you the alternative because there was one. Giving you the alternative because for some bad reason you couldn't quite see the connection. You didn't quite, that discernment wasn't with you. And because you didn't have that discernment, as soon as they flung down their little wizardry on you, fear. You were racked with fear. So much so that you lined up to do stuff that you shouldn't have lined up to do. And then you argued your point because you felt stupid and your ego got in the way and you didn't want to be exposed. Instead of saying, you know what, I fucked up. Is there a way out? Fear.
You know,
fear
how would you explain to your children that you've done it from a place of fear? You vaccinated them. It's like, how do you?
That's what you better turn around and tell them. You better turn around and tell them, because I'll tell you one thing: any families that had that and then there was a split decision down the centre, well, all I'd say is, boy, like in my thing, you know, that's going to have to come up. It's going to be like, oh yeah, that decision was made. In fact, it already came up. It already came up. I already said it this year. I already said it. I was like, nah,
apparently they found the solution, Ihani. They found the solution. They bring in a new treatment for cancer with the mRNA. Have you heard about that? That's funny.
Wait a minute. Nah, you see. Oh, that reminds me. See, as you said that, oh mate, gentlemen, you better come with it now. No, listen, gentlemen. No, that just reminds me. As you said that.
Are we referring to the conversation we had earlier on?
No, I'm referring to the comic.
Ah, right.
Yeah, see, gentlemen, you guys have to come with it, because Justine's come with it, bro. Like, she sent me 3 audio files, man. 3 audio files of just 2 sentences. And mate, yeah, man, I had goosebumps, man. Because remember I told everybody, yeah, you got to draw upon your experiences. And she did. And you can feel it in what she's saying. Like, now she's literally, and this is how I got this, just so you know what we're dealing with, right? When I heard Justine's stuff, There was none. There wasn't 50 phone calls or WhatsApp asking me. All right. Yeah, she sent me these free audio. Is that the type of thing that you want? And I heard it. Mate, I had the first one, I had goosebumps. By the third one, man, my hands were up in the air like Liverpool had scored and we'd won the World Cup and we'd won the fucking FA Cup. Seriously, man. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Goosebumps. I mean, wow. Yeah, make you think when you're listening, makes you think. And she went there, so now we have to go there.
Well, I've done mine. Now you're making me really think that I've got to do it again.
No, what? You just send me what you got, mate. That's cool. Rock and roll,
no, I've sent you the stuff, didn't I? I sent you it.
Oh shit. Yeah, you haven't. It's so spaced. It's so spaced out. Yeah. No, what you've done is great. Don't matter. What you've done is great because remember, everyone's in a different spot in their journey, right? Always remember that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
I have to do it, honey. I have to do it. I'm sorry.
The characters are all in a different part of their journey, even in the storylines. You know what I mean? But I just when I listened to it, I was just like, yeah. I was like, yep. Nice.
How did that connect it from what I said to that? That's what I'm interested.
The mRNA, see?
The mRNA,
yeah, because in one of her pieces, man, she mentions it. I'm just like, yep, okay, so looks like we're going in then.
But that's what we wanted, though, wasn't it?
Well, you know,
you want it to be hard hitting.
We were going in. But the way she did it is really smart as well. It's really smart.
Am I gonna have to wait until the comic comes out the way it is, or what?
Yeah, you're gonna have to, because I'm putting it in the fucking thing. I'm gonna have to put it in the first. I'm gonna at least, because I mean, because she's sent me that, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, I can actually do little commercials now. I can do your clip. I can do a clip of yours and a little clip of hers as a commercial with some background shit, and then so that I can do a commercial, because then I can put together chapter 3. Chapter 3 is now changed from where it was in the beginning of the comics. Amazing, because now I've got all you lot in there doing untold brilliance. Do you know what I mean? Really bringing it alive, really coming alive. And for the ladies and gentlemen who are listening,
you made me curious now.
Oh yes, yes indeed. No, for the ladies and gentlemen who are listening right now, I embarked upon writing or producing a like a motion comic for online. You know, so you'd visit it online, you could watch it on YouTube, and each channel, each series, each chapter would be on the playlist, you know, added to the playlist of the whole thing, right? And so I
thought we lost him.
No, you haven't lost me. You haven't lost me. Thing no. What was I saying? Somebody remind me of my last sentence or something, and I can carry on.
Part 3.
Yeah. The way she's come with it, it's to the point where now, okay, so yeah, you know, I have to, you know, I'm still doing that. You know, we're still doing the whole, you know, the Miami thing, right? That's going to happen, but now. Because of what she's put in there, it gives me an opportunity to skim it close to the scenario, right? Because remember, each character has their perspective on the world within this comic, whilst the other madness is going on, and whilst the two protagonists are going through, these characters observing the protagonists, observing their perspective on the world, observing the fact that something just happened, right? There was a fucking EMP, right? And so, you know, and it starts from there. It starts from people's thoughts from there, and how we go from there. The first and the second chapter have already established that the reader, the listener, has to come in with a clear mind. If you're a prat, a twat who's got a closed mind, fuck off. That's really what the comics told them, if I'm being blunt. Because it does say, yeah, if you can't do this, then you need to stop and go and watch something else. You got to be clear about your audience, right? No one can say, well, I didn't know. Yeah, no, I didn't know it was like that. Didn't know it was about that. Well, he likes Trump. say like Trump. No, he's just in the comic, you muppet. No, he's not in the comic. But he might be. But he might be. Who knows? As a misunderstood leader. Who knows? I don't know. But that's the
Stop
freedom.
playing with people's minds, man.
Yeah, I'm doing. Why not? Why not?
You are manipulating the minds.
Why? Well, no, I'm not manipulating the mind, am I? Am I manipulating the mind? It's up to their minds. If somebody allows their mind to be manipulated, to be influenced to the point where they feel it was externally manipulated, then isn't there something wrong with that? Isn't there something wrong with that? If you feel manipulated instead of you learned something, you feel manipulated, but nobody said anything to you directly, nobody pointed to you. The every word doesn't mean what you thought it meant.
So it goes back to what Carl was mentioning. Everyone has a choice. You choose which one you want to look at.
Choose the story. If words come to you, you choose whether you want to put a story on it or not. Simple as that. You choose whether, those blokes choose whether they want to be, like you was mentioning an earlier story, the young lads on the dance floor watching their girls having fun, but now they got that straight face. But the older fellas doing there with their ladies, it's just like, all right, yeah, cool, lovely. You know what I mean? It's like you choose the story. You choose the story behind your eyes.
2 minutes.
Whatever. Go on then.
No, just give me 2 minutes. Fuck it. I gotta go to the loo. So give me 2 minutes.
Oh. Bong,
Okay.
bing, bong, bing, bing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm to let you know now what's going to happen. He's going to open the door, right? And then, as the door, just before the door closes, you're going to rip a fart just before it closes, right? Just be ready for that. I mean, you luckily he's turned the sound down, so you can't hear that. But you know that's going to happen. That's why I said 2 minutes. Right? I'm just saying, just giving you something. Just giving you an audio, visual.
He left the phone in the room. He didn't take you with him.
Oh, I know. That's all right. So what? Well, we don't want to. Well, I mean,
What an image you put in people's minds, man.
yeah, you don't want to hear him go. So anyway, and then you hear. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. And then because for that moment, just because he's present to what he's doing, and he goes, oh, do you know what I mean? You don't want to hear that. Nobody's looking for that.
That's a good pressure release, man. Laughter. It's very good pressure release from the fear. Yeah, laugh about it. You'll be fine. Just laugh at life, Laugh in its face.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's just being just, there's so many books, right, that are around, audio books as well, right? There's so many audio books that are like, don't stop worrying and start doing, stop worrying and start living, or stop worrying and start, and it tells you, well, what exactly do you worry about? I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. Okay, but can you do anything about that right now? No. Okay. Would you like to be able to consider how you can do something good? Yes, I'm worried sick. Okay, get a list. Make a list. The do's and the don'ts, the pros and the cons. Write that all down. By the time you finish writing that out, man, you've got a clear, definitive understanding of your problem. And now, you're not worried because you've got actionable plans right in front. Old book, man, from the 1930s, man. I was like, yeah, good book. Or 1940s, man. I was like, yeah, good book, mate. Good book. Yeah, 1930s, actually. Yeah, good book. Still pertains to stuff today. Still works. Do you know what I mean? Less worry. Less fear. When people are worried, what are they worried? What is worry? It feels like worry feels like the regressive anticipation
But what if,
of what has not happened yet. Huh?
What if? What if?
Yeah, what if? Yeah, well, what if? What if? Yeah, and what about it? What about it? Then it goes that way. There you go, there's the answer. Now let's get on with where you are now. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that to me, that would be the thing. What if? Yeah, well, what about it? What if? Yeah. What if that happens? We'll do this. Yeah, cool. Well, then what if that happens? Well, then if that happens, we'll do this. Yeah. What if that happens? Well, if that happens, everybody's fucked. So, all right, yeah, cool. You happy? Yeah. All right, let's go. You know what I mean? Just get to that point. What happened now? Listen, if it goes sideways, we're all fucked. Are we ready? Get your helmet. Let's roll out. That's it. Nothing else you can do. You're here today now. It's not gonna work like that. You're here now, buddy.
Yeah.
There's no need for fear. Don't get me wrong. When you like you, Marius. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Look, you, Marius, man, for about a day, right? My mortality was questioned. Do you know what I mean? My kids, I was like, wait, what's some bastard's gonna fucking let off for what? And I'll be honest, man, there was some selfish shit. I thought, oh, fuck, I wish I'd spent more time with my oldest daughter. First thing comes into play, I wish I'd spent more time with my oldest daughter. Oh, well, better make sure that the communication is there now and make sure even though it is. But I would just say, it was just these things turn up. I'm just being very, very frank and honest what went through my head. But I was concerned for my youngest and, for a mum partner. I was concerned. I was like, all right, what do we do? What's going on? I had to eat, I had to fart, pass wind a bit just to make sure I'd let off whatever valve needed to be let off. But then guess what I did?
And it's through our immersion in our own experience. I can't stress that enough, because you are the architect. You are the pilot of your journey. You're the actor, the thespian. Now, you could take the lead role and talk into said Yorick's head, or you could be a little extra at the back that doesn't have many lines at all and doesn't like to be seen. A meek little butterfly. It is your choice. Completely your choice. Now, the insightful aspect of all of that is you now are aware, you have been made privy to, again, like you heard me say the other day, you are now illuminated into the insightfulness of your possibility, where you therefore are the architect, you are the director, you are the key star, or if you wish, the quiet little extra of your own existence. That in itself is insightful. Fascinating.
I literally, so then, there was the problem facing. Has somebody actually done something crazy like that? And are we all fucked? Right? Or not? So I went online. And you know what? The oddest thing happened. The universe guided me to a video on YouTube, and it was Dr. Rainer Fuhrman. And when I finished watching that video, I was cool. You know why? Because what he was doing showed me that what he was doing was focused on one integral part of the operation, and it informed me. It confirmed further, should I say, at that point, because I spoke to his brother just to make sure that what I thought was going on. But it reconfirmed that, it's great because he's doing that and he's spent all the effort over there doing that. This bit, great, rock and roll. So what I'm saying to the listener right now is, if there was any fear of loss, my children, my ex-partner, or my partner, she's my partner now, friend and business partner and stuff. We have a child together. So partner. Their life, grandma, granddad's life, my mum, grandma over there. You know what I mean? My brother, whoever. A whole lot, my oldest, friends, their children. That moment came. I had to question, is this shit popping off or what? What's going on? Is this popping off? I couldn't stand there be asking that question and can't ask yourself a question like that, and then all of a sudden you're going into tears. So what did I do? I did a little bit of research. So Rainer Fuhrman doing something. I said, okay, that's the end of that. Cool. Right? The fear gone. Whatever it was that turned up, there was Rainer Fuhrman. It was the chart map thing. It was, speak to me, brother, just to reconfirm. It was looking at my own head and thinking, well, that can't be possible because X, Y, and Z. But I don't want to be a cunt and be the only person that should say, no, this is BS, mate. Better go check to make sure before I go, it's BS, mate. Do you know what I mean? Before I guide my children the right way, I better go and check. Because I don't want to be like, oops, yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, man, I didn't read shit. So I have no clue what I'm talking about. No, just guessed it. Well, I was guessing, mate. Do you know what I mean? I was eating pizza at the time. What do you want? No, yeah, I it's like most people. You went out and you search and you say, okay, cool. Now I've got a handle on this shit.
Well, not to forget David Martin as well. That brings him more into perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, okay. 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 Well, I'm just letting that one go by. Sorry, my perspectives, mate. Yeah, David Martin. Yeah, great geezer. Yeah, wicked, man. Wicked. Yeah, rock and roll.
I mean, presented patterns of COVID-19 since 2015 or something like that. It's like, what? They had a patent on it?
Yeah, well, see, but even knowing something like that should kind of allay the fear a bit, shouldn't it?
I mean, they had a patent on the prevention for COVID-19, not on the virus itself.
No, but I was saying that even that should allay people's fears, right? When you hear that, you should think, oh fuck, well then it was BS. Okay, well then, see what I mean? So the the average smo who doesn't know anything, they haven't been given this information. They don't know anything, right? They don't know. Maybe they still don't know right now. Maybe they do now. Maybe there's enough alternative things that are going, look, this is what really happened. I mean, Elon Musk, X, go on X and check it out. You want to know what's happening in the world? Or what happened? Go on X. Maybe, you see, look, anything to allay the fear. This podcast is about fear today, right? We're talking about fear. But we're also giving you, right, some of the simplest insights. I mean, literally, the easiest, non-committal, just the soft pastry, sponge cake, soft, easy ideas. Nothing crusty and hard and strict and rigid. Just simple. We got to do is take a look, bruv. Oh, really? Wow. Look. Fear gone. That's the whole point. We're not trying to stay here like those proper, those other mongerers. And then when you finish the show, now people shitting themselves. They're literally, by the time they finish, it's like, no, I should have listened to that show because now I'm really shitting myself. No, man, we're to love and laugh, give you info. Right, the show said, sorry, brother, you sleeping. My bad. I heard yawning. Sorry.
You're waking him up.
You're waking me. Not necessarily waking me up, mate. Just obviously the clock's ticking.
Exactly.
Nothing on what you were saying, mate. Nothing what you were saying. I weren't tired of what you were saying. I weren't taking a piss or anything. It was a genuine. It was well timed. It was a genuine yawn.
Well timed. But I'm just kidding. There you go. My point was, I made my point, gentlemen. I made my point then.
Well, one thing that I remember when I heard about David Martin and about his patent, and I was like, oh, well, he says it. Let me see if that exists. And went on PubMed and then there you go. The patent was there. I was like, huh? What? Okay.
So did that allay fears, or did that put any fear into you, or did that?
No, that actually is like, okay, there's something invented here. So are people gonna fall for it? Because the actual virus is not the virus that they say that it's there. You can't see it. It's so tiny. It's gonna kill you. Yeah. The invisible virus was actually the bioweapon that they put in people's arms now. That's the virus.
Right. Well, but again, either way, the old, right, would be abated if you were to. Your fear would be abated if you then were given enough knowledge, given enough information, straightforward course of information that allows your current fears to be allayed, right? I mean, at the end of the day, wouldn't that be the case, right? Wouldn't that be the practice? Yeah. You don't want your whole nation in fear. If I run a nation, I don't want my people to be scared and shit themselves. I want them to be happy. I want them to be happy. I want them to be comfortable. I want them to be knowledgeable. I want them to be, well informed, right? Because in doing that, they become very powerful.
But isn't that where, was it Rothschild that said, I don't want a society of thinkers, I want a society of workers?
See, I weren't around back then, so I don't even know about that. And I don't think I'd hang out with anybody who said that.
No,
I don't think I could. I couldn't hang out with anyone like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, do you want to? It's like, oh, mate, really? I don't want a society of thinkers. I want a society of doers. So you don't want this joint then? No, you don't smoke this, because I'm telling you, smoke this and you'll think differently, bro. See, there was no one there. See, and that's that meeting that I missed, man. I knew it. That's the meeting I missed. They was trying to do something from back in the day. If she serves me right, they were trying to do something with some Africans or something. Yeah, I was supposed to be there, but I was fucking late. Do you know why? Dealer didn't turn up until at least a fucking 1:15 the hour, and I told him 1:45, 1:15 the bloody hour. That half hour was so important. So I weren't there to influence them fellas, and guess what? That's what happens, bruv. I'm just look. There's on a timeline, right? On a timeline somewhere that's going on. I'm just saying. But listen, on this particular timeline, ladies and gentlemen, right? You know what? It's about that time, ladies and gentlemen, for the man himself, larger than life. Literally, the brand new Monty Python, all rolled in a one. Tallest geezer, Ebenezer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Hit the Pinball. With the Carl.
Thank you. You're far too kind. I just had to sit up and drag myself forward to the mic. I sat in my chair, a bit heavy eyelids. Yeah, but I suppose we're at that stage, aren't we? We hit the pinboard, Carl. And I suppose you lot want to know what's on the pinboard this week, don't you, for this fabulous instalment of the House of Lords? You're on the pinboard. That's what's on the fucking pinboard this week. You. Your brittle, sensitive snowflake self. Wrapped up as a government mouthpiece of your particular part of the world. A megaphone of indoctrination. The very embodiment of George Carlin's statement, the pussification of the human species. And if you're offended by what I just said, I'm talking to you. It doesn't apply, let it fly. High fives. You're on your way. But if you are offended, it's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame because it's your fault. How could you say that? Yeah, it is. Do you know, like, the country that you live in is in a fucking shit state? Yeah, that's your fault. Do you know your politicians are taking a piss? Yeah, that's your fault. You know your family are in a state of fear and your health's all shitty? Yep, that's not the government's fault. That's your fault. How can it be my fault? I was just doing as I was told. Because you're a fucking adult. And when since did we do as we're told as adults? That's what we say to children. Not at any stage does somebody get you in a fucking arm bar, right, and say, do as you're told. Not any stage. Not at any stage. The box in your particular room that had some pixels on it, orientated in a particular way that resembles a political figure. Now that box said something. Those pixels said something. And you conformed like a bitch. Like a little circus clown. A little performing monkey. Clapping your hands. Right? Like a seal. Waiting for fish. Bouncing a ball on its face. That's you. Yeah? Education shit because you're not paying attention. So it's your fucking fault. Yeah? Oh, the green, the ozone, the green. Yeah, that's all your fault too. Well, I'm not dropping depleted uranium bombs. Yeah, but you didn't fucking say anything about it happening though, did you? Did you hold them account? Did you? Eh? I bet you didn't. I bet you just woke up and went to fucking work and watched Gladiators. That's what you did. Yeah? We saw recently in Russia Tucker Carlson go over there and do a documentary on how lovely it was in Russia. While the rest of the world's in a state of panic and fear, Russia's doing its thing. So we can't have that, can we, as a Western world? No, we can't have that. So what happens? Some terrorists go over there, didn't they? They have weapons, they have armed militias, they have military uniforms, and they have safe passage back to Ukraine. What the fuck's going on here, eh? Who gave them that? Because I thought Ukraine was broke. Oh, right. You're funding it. Your taxpayers' money, you conformings funding this shit. Your politicians couldn't give a fuck about you, but you still listened to them, didn't you? So who's to blame then? The politician and his mouthpiece? How many crazy people do we walk past on a daily basis who stood on a corner spouting off some crazy shit? Do you walk straight past them? I bet you do. Of course you do. But the fella on the telly that you don't know, you listened to him, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. And now your life's fucking miserable. Yeah? It's your fault. You had fucking choice. Marius mentioned earlier on. Oh, but the doctrination, you know, school, education and everything else. You end up lobotomized. You had a choice. You had a fucking choice. No, we didn't. We had to go to school. No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. But we did. No, you didn't. Because I didn't. When I realised that it was a nonsense, I bounced. Fuck this. This is nonsense. And I bounced. Oh, but if you don't get an education, you can't do anything. Really? Really? I've been in the armed forces, I've been to university, I've travelled the world. Not a fucking qualification to my name. Don't tell me shit about you need to. What you need to do is educate yourself and find your fucking backbone. That's what you need to do. You need to find your backbone and start doing some frigging proper investigations on how you're being hoodwinked to be a pathetic, limp-wristed prick. Because that's what you are. You acquiesce to strangers that you don't know. Everybody in England knows that inheritance tax is fucking theft. Do you say anything? No, you don't. Yeah, you pay it, didn't you? Everybody in the UK that's self-employed is paying their taxes. But yet they all bitch that the water's crap, the schools are crap, the farming's on its fucking last legs, the NHS is on life support, and your politicians just give themselves another 15% pay rise. Why? We are seeing the biggest fucking collapse of the quality of living since the fucking Second World War. And you're still paying, ain't you? You're still paying. So who do I then begin to point my finger at? Well, it's you, isn't it? Because it's you. Remember the film Ants? Remember I told you last week about the ants? If the ants realise that they outnumber us 1,000,000 to 1, there goes our way of life. They tell you all the time. And what do you do? Oh, that's a good film. I took my kids to watch it. She'll go get a McDonald's. Because it's a treat, isn't it? And then you wonder why little Sarah is now a beast because she's 16 because you brought her up on fucking McDonald's. You look at pictures of people in the 70s. We were some fit people. We really were. Seldomly saw a fat fuck.
What?
Seldomly. I say were. Yeah, I'm not implying myself in there. I'm fit as fuck. I got a six-pack like you. I got chest and abs. I'm in great shape. So as far as I'm concerned, if your health's crap, well, that's on you because you're fucking feeding it. If your health is now knackered because you're swallowing oil-based pharmaceuticals, that's your fault. No, it's your fault. There's alternatives. No, stop with the fucking buts. There's alternatives. You have choice. If you're worried about the toxification of your food, stop fucking buying it. We have a world built on a monetary system based on perpetual growth. It's business. Business thrives when people buy. Businesses die when people stop. You want to stop consuming shitty food, stop buying it. You want to stop using products that cause cancer, stop fucking buying them. And maybe after a period of time when enough businesses have gone fucking bust, you may begin to realise that it's us that have the power. Not them. And remember, ladies and gents, and yes, apparently that's a fucking crime too, to say ladies and gents. These are sentences that have been put out there that are offensive to people. Fuck off. All I've ever seen is men and women. All I've ever seen on my entire existence on Earth is cocks and fannies. That's it. And I've seen a lot of human beings. And they are bred a fanny or a dick. It's not 120 fucking genders. You can't chop your dick off and expect to fucking have it back 10 years down the line when you realised you made a mistake. By your acquiescence of not speaking out about the nonsense that is taking place, it's on you. I don't place myself in that category. I'll tell you why. Because I'm on the House of Lords. And I'm saying as it is. I'm speaking out in the world, and I know that the things I say are inflammatory. In some countries, including this one, they're offensive and, in turn, an offence. The consequences of which I could be arrested, my tech could be taken off me, I could be thrown in prison, I could be heavily fined. Fuck them. I'm still here. Do you know why? Remember what I said at the beginning? We have choice. That's why. This is what it looks like, ladies and gents, boys and girls, to have choice. This is what it looks like to speak the fucking truth, your truth, and nothing but the fucking truth. So help you and your God. So what's on the pinboard, ladies and gentlemen, is the quality or the lack of it here on Earth. And who is to blame? You. And your fucking inaction. And your supporting empty, vacuous, dead fucking celebrities. Your idol worship. Your desire to constantly consume as opposed to educate yourself about the wicked nature of what some of these people want for you. I lose track how many times I've told people about the global reset, the cashless society, and the World Economic Forum and the European Union's agreement with it that you will own nothing and be happy about it. And what do? Well, you go get a McDonald's and watch Gladiators, didn't you? So who's to blame? You're to blame. And if you're bothered by that, maybe you should do something about it. What do you think? Eh? If you don't want to be the point of fucking blame, then change. But until then, you'll forever be pinned on this fucking pinboard with the rest of the cretins. But to the rest of you who enjoy the show, who have done the due diligence, begin to understand the complexity of life here on Earth, in love and light to you and yours. High five and blessed be your journey. Truly. But if you are the proverbial archetypal system server, then it's fucking on you. Have a good day. That's what's on the pinboard.
that was our illustrious brother, Carl, smashing it.
That was great.
On the pinboard.
That was great. Let me put it this way. No, that was fucking great.
It was. You know what? You see, what it shows us, right? You see, even as you made that point, I was thinking, as you made your share just then, I was thinking to myself, you know what? The elephant. Remember how we were speaking about the elephant in the room? You know what? It comes up again, right? With all of that, the elephant in the room is the fact that certain people just don't want to take responsibility for themselves. They are the elephant in the room. They are the thing. That they themselves don't want to be like, oh, you know what? I think it's down to me to actually just go there and think about this and go ahead and, engage properly in this. No. Rather stand behind the fence, shitting themselves. And then whining and complaining. But then looking all brave and brave when the danger's gone. No one's there.
Yeah, if they would have said that to me, I would have done this. How many times? Yeah, I would have done this if that would have been me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever. Whilst the rest of us have got the stains and the scars from fucking being there. Yeah, all right, man. Cheers, you carry on.
Yeah.
See where we go from there. Do you know what I mean? Again, it would appear that, and I don't know what you think about this gentleman, but it appears as if there is a I know we mentioned when we said it's a pandemic of fear, and I was about to say, because of the different facets that it's approached, that it's portrayed in people, because of different responses. When you look at, let's look at, for example, which industry shall we look at? There's so many industries to look at. It's automobile industry, right? You go into a car dealership in the United States, middle of the road. I'm not talking Jaguar or Porsche. I'm just talking, your average schmo on the road, Ford, whatever, just schmo. I mean, Ford's got some nice cars, but whichever, Chevy, right? And when you go in, right, someone's buying a brand new car. Now, if I'm not mistaken, when I got a brand new motor, right, if I'm not mistaken, or even I got a used one, but it was new from the used dealership, right? There was a certain amount of excitement. Okay, it's like, it's like a toy that you get as a child, and now you're a big child, and you can get in this toy. And you can, instead of you pushing it around the pretend car park, the pretend whatever, right? The pretend little city that you had, past the fire engine, the pretend bridge. Now you can actually do that. You're moving about. You're moving about, right? Loving it. But now that but you see, what I noticed was inside the dealership, I walked in. When I was looking for a job in houses, I walked in, and I couldn't help myself but notice the people and I said, what are these people doing? And they're like, they're purchasing cars. I said, yeah. So I looked so unhappy. The person didn't say anything to me. I just looked at it. I thought, oh, well, yeah, maybe didn't hear me. I just probably got. But he felt like he kind of ignored that question. Carried on. People were unhappy. I was looking at people. I was thinking, you're about to buy a motor, 40 grand. What's it look like? Let me look at it. I was like, oh, that's a lovely car. Shouldn't you be happy? The whole process, you should be smiling. Yeah, man. Well, I've had this baby here for, man. It was my boo. We traveled for years, but it's time to give her up because I've seen something new. Sorry, boo. Could have said bye to you. I see something new. Let's get a song. And that shouldn't that be like that? Should be overjoyed. It shouldn't be just wealthy people getting their shit delivered to them with a little bow on their thing. It shouldn't be just that. People getting delivered to them with a little bow on it, and then they're happy. They're taking pictures. I mean, I remember
taking pictures with people. I used to take pictures with people that I sold cars to, right? Didn't matter what the car was, small, big, didn't matter. I took me in there and then in their motor. Cheers. Say cheese. Brum brum. You know, like, yeah, I would take pictures. It was a happy moment. I'll make it a happy moment. You just spent 40 grand. You just spent 60 grand. You just committed to 58,000. You've just sunk 2 checks for 60 grand a pop for these 2 trucks. Smile your fucking face off. You got the luxury and you've paid it. You're in. Smile. Now you're driving down the road, cruising. You're looking great. You're feeling great. You feel like something. Now you're like, yeah, man, I have to get rid of that shitter. It stunk. Now look what I got. So why not smile when you're in there? I'll tell you why they're not smiling. It's fear. Fear of being ripped off. Fear of not getting enough for their money. Fear of the interest rates being too high. Fear of it's going to be like a 6-year loan instead of like a nice normal one where you feel like a normal person. 3-year loan. They try and make that out, you know. Try and make you feel normally for 3, but the rest is like, oh, my credit's bad. Yeah, that's why I'm giving you 7. It's like, you know, so there's all this stuff going on, and I'm like, what? You guys are not happy? You're not happy? You're not? Okay, fine. So we're going to be miserable. We come to sell car. Yes, you come to buy car? Okay, you miserable? Okay, let's go. I just couldn't understand it. So get rid. So it's okay. Look. Clearly, it's just another. It's just another pandemic of. All right. Here's a pandemic of fear, right? Kid about to ride a bike, brand new, little kid. What does his parents do? They go and get helmet, you know, elbow things. They've got he's on stabilizers, so he can't even fall off the bike, even if he wanted to. You know, when you see the kid who hasn't balanced the bike yet, so he's literally riding on the stabilizer, right? And you can see his whole body weight is on one side of the bike, but because the stabilizer's holding him up, he's rocking. He's moving along. It's moving on disjointedly and stuff. And if those stabilizers weren't there, they'd be on the floor, but they are there. So he's not. And he's moving. But he's got a big helmet. Big ass helmet that Mum got him. Mum got him a helmet because he might fall over and hit his head. Right? Mum got him some elbow things because he might fall over and scratch his elbows. Mum bought him these little knee pads. It's his first fucking bike. She bought him these little knee pads because if he falls off, he might scuff his knees. Oh. And even though I'm right, even though Mum's right there. So if he does fall, oh my God, are you all right? Get the fuck out of the way. I'm getting to my child. What's going on, baby? Mummy, I've got a tiny little scratch on my knee. It's killing me. Why? You wrap to swaddle the child up. The child can't develop. It's fear. Who told you that the kid needed that? Yeah, well, you don't want him to bang his head because he might injure himself. Could get brain damage. What? Excuse me? Listen, I went to a rough school, just like matey over here, just like Carl over here, right? I went to school in London too. I went to school in Hampshire as well, but I went to school in London too. That's rough. And listen, on numerous occasions when there was fights going off, man, your head was on the floor. Your head was on the floor. Look, if a bigger bloke got me. Look, I'm not going to tell say that I've never been beaten up. I'll stand toe to toe and I'm tough like that. Look, there was always going to be somebody bigger than me, a bit quicker than me, right? It was always going to fucking happen. And it happened. And your head hits the floor, bruv. Your head, listen, when you go down on the ground, right, bang, you got to be careful. But your head can touch the floor. I didn't go to school with a helmet. None of the kids went to school with a helmet when I was a kid. We rode our bikes on concrete. I learned how to ride my bike on concrete, man. And I fell off the bike a couple of times, going downhill fast. I hadn't learned, but the feeling of going downhill fast, balance was cool. Stopping and that was just another matter. Didn't matter. Cars weren't made out of plastic, so when you come off your bike,
right? It just hit the car that was about to drive past it. It didn't damage the car. There was no fear, is my point. He just went for it, right? Where does that fear come from, right? Where does that fear come from? Is that what's innately, because I'd like to know, is that what's innately in us? Or has there been a way of manufacturing, of teaching us how to do that and then keeping us in that loop? And keeping humanity in that loop. Any suggestions, gentlemen?
No, you do bring forward a valid point, really. This kind of introduction to fear. You know, if you're of a particular age, parenting was very different when I was young to parenting now. You know, like the Right Honourable Iani touched, we grew up in playgrounds that didn't have rubber mats. You know, we had those big 20-foot tall, narrow-ass slides, right, that you stuck to in the summer and you flew down in the winter straight off the end onto your back. Onto concrete. You know, we had swings, right, that were massive and there was no rubber. There's no rubber. We're roundabout.
And we used to climb trees as well.
Here's another thing. Here was another thing, right, that they've got rid of, right? Who remembers them kind of rocking horses that had 5 or 6 seats on it? It was like a human cast iron battering ram. Do you remember them where there'd be all of you and you'd be rocking it backwards and forwards, rocking it backwards? Yeah. And if somebody stood in front of that or at the back of it, you got taken out. You know, there was broken bones.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We had adventure playgrounds that were made out of wood, telegraph poles, and 6-inch nails.
Yeah.
That's what we played on. We played on scaffolding and all the rest of it. But going back to this fear, you know, where does it come from? Where do we pick this up? I'm going to tell you a light-hearted story. It is a light-hearted story. I think it's a light-hearted story anyway, right? And I was playing football as a kid on the green on the estate with all the other kids. You know, on the grass where all the dogs would piss and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where we played, on the grass.
Yeah.
Right? So we're there, right, and we're playing football, and I'll do a slide tackle or something to try to get the ball, and there's a bit of broken glass. Right? And it basically sliced all open my thumb meat. Do you know, on the palm? Yeah. You know, that nice bit of your drumstick?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, just to open that up. So it was just this big, horrible, fleshy wound. And I was like, oh no. Right? So I've gone upstairs. Dad! You know, I'm panicking, you know, because I can see inside of my hand. You know, so it's like, this is bad. So I've gone upstairs and said, Dad, right? And he's literally just grabbed me like a barbarian. Grabbed me, looked at my hand, he went, oh, that's bad, that, son. Right? And he put it under the kitchen sink tap, and this water's making it flap about like a bit of chicken. Right? And he's looking at me, and I'm panicking because I'm gauging his response. Right? But he's cool. And he's looked at it and he's gone, oh, son, do you know what? Instead of taking you up to the hospital, right, I just have to chop your arm off, I think. What? I said, yeah, we'll just chop your arm off, boy. I said, no, we won't do that. We'll just get stitches then. He was like, oh, come on in. And he took me up to the hospital, we got stitches, and that's the end of the story. You know, totally eradicating the fear. Here's another thing. Well, we used to play darts, right? But with each other. Do you know what I mean? Get a pack of darts and you're throwing darts at you and your friends. I had a dart in my head. I know one of my mates had a dart in the head because I threw it. Right? We did stupid shit like that. We did, you know, and the parents didn't come upstairs like, oh, what you doing? You can have each other's eye. You know, they just call you a dick, behave, fucking stupid idiot. And that was it.
Yep.
You know, it's like, I got a dart in my head. Well, you won't do that again, will you?
Yeah. Right.
That kind of thing. And I remember holding on to the back of Jesus Christ. Holding on to the back of trucks.
Yeah.
With roller skates on. Or a skateboard. Do you know what I mean? That truck it's all right when it's doing about 5 or 6 as it pulls off. Do you know what I mean? But when it got up to about 25, 30 mile an hour on tarmac, all of a sudden it feels like you've got lightning in your feet. Yeah, every I can't let go because I'm gonna die. Right. Here's another thing. Stupid stuff. The most stupidest, dangerous stuff, right? There used to be a block of flats, right? There used to be a block of flats called on the Yellow Brick Estate, which is called the Bells Gardens Estate. I don't even know if it still exists, right? But the Bells Gardens Estate, Yellow Brick Estate, South East London, Peckham, right? And it had lifts, elevators, whatever you want to call it. And we'd worked out as young kids, right? And when I say young kids, we're not at secondary school yet. So we're young, right? Now, we'd sussed out that if you called a lift, right, and the doors open, and then press sort of like one of the floors, as the doors closed, and you count sort of like 1 or 2 seconds, and then you and your mate pry the doors back open, right? You've got...
The lift's gone.
Yeah, you've got half of the lift.
Yeah.
Yeah? So we'd get on top. And on top of the lift, there's a little control panel, right? Kids, don't be listening to this. Don't fucking copy this because it's stupid.
Yeah, that's
I did it myself.
Flavour there.
Yeah, no, it was a different flavour. Yeah, it was a different flavour. This is a different flavour.
Yeah, right.
Right, this, I don't recommend anybody do this, right? But yeah, we'd sit on the lift, in the lift shaft, right? Exactly. And listen to people coming in and out the lift. And on top, I don't know if it's still the case now, right? But on top, there used to be a little control panel, do you know, for the engineer. Right. Yeah? So you could control the lift once the people had got in it. Now, you could imagine the fun pubescent children would have with that.
I could have sworn that.
Yeah.
The 15th floor. The fuck are we?
Boy, I won't go into some of the things, but we're talking of fear. We you know, as kids, we did put the fear in a few people. But there was even cases where, I mean, when I think back, it's like, Jesus Christ, what were we doing? Right? If that was my kid, I would have killed him.
Oh yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Right in the counterbalance weight.
Yeah, see? You just asking for trouble.
Of course you are.
You're just asking for trouble right there. You're asking for it.
Just proper. You're not even crazy stuff.
Yeah, right? You're not even mentally really. You're not
aware. You're not
aware of anything.
You're not aware of that stuff, right?
Oh my God.
But going back, right? So childhood back when we was young was rough, and you got to realise, right, that it was very different. There weren't no pages, there weren't no mobile phones. Well, there were, right, but they existed with the most wealthy. And when they first come out, it was a car battery, right, with a phone on the top. That's what it was. That was your first mobile phone. Car battery with a phone on top. And so we'd wake up and you'd get your bike, right, and you'd go knock for your friend. You'd knock on his door. And the parent would answer, and you'd have to say, hello, is Simon there? Is Michael there? Is Calvin home? You know, and they'd go, yes, one moment. You know, whoever it is, or they'd say, no, he went out earlier on with 2 others. He took his bike. Okay. So now you're off. You're looking for the bikes. You know, you'd go here. We'd go out in the morning in South East London. We'd be in the West End by dinner time. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And then we'd be back at about 5:30 because we knew it was going to start getting dark, and if the street lights came on, that's when you had to go home. Yeah. And that was it. You know, if something happened to you, God forbid. Right. And when you're out on these travels, like you mentioned the bike, right? There was a place over in Crystal Palace. There was some woods in Crystal Palace, right? And they had this kind of dirt track that went through these woods. Unbeknown to me, it was kind of a pro thing. I didn't know that, right? We didn't know that. It was just like a track, right? I thought, yeah, this is cool. So, we hit this track a couple of times. I got on this track and I'm flying, mate, flying. And then all of a sudden this sharp bend come. I'm not making that bend. I'm telling you, I didn't make that bend, right? I went straight past that bend. Now I'm flying through the air, looking at the ground, disappearing as it's going down the hill, and I seem to be going further and further out on my bike. And then you hit a tree, You know what I mean? A handlebar hits a tree, sends you flying. You're going through the woods now. You're all grazed up, all bent up, bruised up. You've got a noggin on your head the size of a golf ball, right? And your mates come running over. You all right? It's like, yeah, that was wicked, bruv. High fives. Right? Or there's that really awkward moment where you want to cry because it hurts really much, but it's that laugh cry. Oh, yeah, I'm all right. Right, and that's how we learn. That's how you got what was the word? Robust.
Yes.
You could learn to take the knocks. You know, we'd bunk off school and go down to Bermondsey or to the Thames, and we'd go swimming in Bermondsey docks. Long before it was gentrified. Do you know what I mean? Long before all the gentrification, before all those old work units became luxury apartments. Well, I remember finding one day this old workhouse unit. It must have been about 5 floors, and they had this like conveyor belt that went from the 5th floor down to the 1st floor. We used to ride it like it was a slide. I don't know if you ever did this. The old grey, brown, the brown bread baskets. We used to use them as sledges to go down concrete steps.
Oh wow! Bread baskets. Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The big wide grey one, brown ones. Yeah, the old school ones. Yeah, round the back of the local frigging sandwich place. You know, get one of them. We'll go down the stairs. End up bent up at the bottom of the stairs, all bent up, you know.
Because it's a great idea as you're travelling straight down those stairs, but stopping power, no wheels, no suspension, nothing. You know, no safety barrier. Fuck all, mate.
I used to jump the balcony from my apartment to my friend's apartment, my neighbor's apartment. I remember the day. Listen. For some reason, we were punished by the parents anyway. So we couldn't get out because of something I have done, probably because I was a bit of a naughty one anyway. But it's like, you have no key to go, so you can't go out because you can't lock the door. Right? So I was like, you think so? So I pushed my brother out. I closed the door, locked the door from the inside, jumped the balcony at my friends, come out, and let's go out. Let's have fun. Just walking down the stairs, my dad was coming to check on us. He's like, how did he get out? Why did he get out? He left the door open? I was like, do I tell him? No, I don't tell him. What do you mean I tell him? What, you tell him you jump the balcony? No, you're not going to tell him. So obviously I said nothing all the way up, right? He tries to open the door is locked. How did he lock the door? You have a key? No.
I remember something very similar.
And then he worked it out. He worked it out, and he beat me up because he worked it out.
I love that. Said so whimsically. Yeah, he beat me up. But we could accept it. We could accept it because we knew we'd done wrong, right? Yeah. I remember something very similar. We'd moved from a particular block of flats into these masonettes, right? And Jesus Christ, I was 14 years old, right? Not long turned as well. I would wait until my mum and dad, my foster parents, went to bed, and then I would climb out the 1st floor window, kind of shimmy down a bit of pipe, down onto the garden fence, and then go to a rave called Laserdrome in Peckham, right? And then come out of the rave at about 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, go back home and climb back in through the window. And I did that for yonks. Like, I can't remember how long I did that for. At least almost a year I was doing that. And then one day I went out and I come back and I looked up at the window and the window was shut. And I thought, oh, fuck. because I wouldn't shut the window because that was my way of getting back in. And so the window was shut, and I don't know if you could imagine this, right, gents, and whoever's listening. I was off it, right, with all the party condiments that was associated with raves, right. So I was gone, pretty much, off my face. And I remember looking up at the window, and the window's shut. I was like, oh no, because I didn't have a key, right? I didn't take my key or anything. And I remember resting my head on the front door while I'm trying to get off with the back of my neck, right? My jaw just doing its own thing, my eyes rolling about. My eyes have got their own fucking thing going on. Yeah, they're not talking to each other. They're working independently of each other. My jaw is trying to speak a foreign language, and I'm resting my forehead on the door. And I want you to imagine this, right? I'm knocking on the door, and in my head, I'm knocking quiet enough that it doesn't wake my dad, but loud enough to wake my mum. Right? And I don't know it made perfect sense in my head at the time. And I'm resting my head on the door, just obviously 2 sheets to the wind. And then all of a sudden the door opens with some ferocity, right? And I stack it. I literally fall forward like a fucking falling over broom, just poof, onto the floor. And my foster dad just grabbed me by the back of my neck and the shirt type thing, dragged me into the house, shut the door, and kind of held me up like a rag doll. Looked at me and went, "Get to bed, you little cunt." That's what he said. Just get to bed, you little cunt. And I went upstairs and obviously fucking collapsed. But yeah, Jesus Christ, the trouble I got in for that. And like you say, Marius, beating up, I remember lots of that. You try to give it a big one. Jeez, I lose track how many times I got frigging pinned up against the wall with my feet dangling by my neck. I remember saying to my dad once, I started boxing. I must have been about fucking 12, right? I started boxing. And I came back one day. He was like, "All right, son, how was boxing?" I was like, "Yeah, it's all right, Dad, I fucking have you." He said, "Is that right?" I said, "Yeah, don't mess with me." And he did that old school boxing thing. He took the old school boxing approach, you know what I mean? Like the old men. Remember that style where one hand's right out front and they're wiggling, right? And I kind of giggled, right? Like, "You old git." And he jabbed me in the chest. I was out. I couldn't breathe. I was on the floor. I felt like I was going to be sick. And he just looked over me and he went, "You're not ready." Just left me there in a heap. Do you know what I mean? And that's him being playful. That was him being playful. Right? And yeah, that, when he truly meant it, yeah, I weren't moving. But it gave you that notion of respecting the elders. This is of the generation where you could get a slap off a stranger because they knew your parents and you was being a twat. There was consequences to your actions. Nowadays, it doesn't seem to be consequences. It's like people are just getting away with saying whatever they want and not getting a smack for it. And you could say that's quick, if you take in Edwina Curry, wouldn't it? Oh, no, that's it. Childline. And I mean, I got nothing against these organisations fundamentally, right? But they blurred the line between discipline and abuse to the point that you can't discipline anymore. It's like, no, this is discipline. No, you smacked him, that's abuse. No, it's discipline. It's a fucking difference. And now we've got swarms of children and young adults, right, that don't know the repercussions of their slackness. And we wonder why society's gone the way it has. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. Hang on. It's about that time, Marius. It is.
Oh,
It's
is
about
it?
that
Oh.
time. It is about that time, mate. It's about that time, ladies and gents, for tip of the day with the right honourable and learned and fabulous Iani.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Once again, we are here for tip of the day. And what is the tip of the day? Well, podcast thus far, we have been speaking of fear. Some of the many attributes of fear, and as a result, some of the things that have happened based upon them. So what would be a tip of the day? Well, we have to look at what fear is and how you overcome it. Oi, what's wrong with you, mate? I'm doing something else. You know, you have to, that was the cat I was talking to. You know, you have to come up with what's wrong with you. What are you stuck for? Yeah, that's what happens, mate. Yeah, you get out there. Well, get out now. Get out. You see, you're stuck in wires. Muppet. Right. Tip of the day. Right. If that's what we're doing, then really let's look at fear, what it's about, and how we overcome it. Right. If we are going to be immersed in narratives, doctrines, ideologies that all end in fear. I don't know. I don't know. Is there something that for me, yeah, I can't work with that. But I don't want you to work with it either. So tip of the day. Do the research even if others don't. Do not, I repeat, do not worry or be concerned with what others think of you in that moment. Do for you and yours. Educate yourself in that moment so that you and yours can smile and have fun another day. Don't worry about the naysayers. Don't worry about all of those curtain peerers and blind hoppers. Don't worry about those people. Don't worry about the gossips, the Gerald gossip, the Geraldine gossips. You know, don't worry about those, the bouquets, the hyacinth bouquets and the like. No, don't worry about them. Tip of the day, don't worry about any of that. All right? Tip of the day, find knowledge, because what have we established? At least if there's one thing that we have established in this podcast today, is that knowledge allows you to overcome fear. And fear is something that you don't actually have to carry with you all day, every day. It sort of has machinations of anxiety. Oh, well, he's anxiety. No, he's farting, he's shitting himself. That's not anxious. They're shitting themselves. Why are you anxious? Well, because I'm shitting myself. I told you the same thing. So, tip of the day. Feel free to do all the research, attain the knowledge you need, and thus remove any fear in any situation. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the tip of the day.
There you had it, ladies and gentlemen. A fabulous, illustrious, unique and brilliant Iani with tip of the day. Gentlemen, Marius, I know you was just about to chime in there, mate. I'm sorry I cut you off. It is 1 minute past the hours of 3 o'clock in the morning here, ladies and gents. Just to show to you my commitment, I've awarded myself, looking at it now, less than 3 hours, Kip, before I got to go to work. All for the pleasure of you, look. Hope you appreciate it.
I do appreciate it.
Oh, Marius, I'll give you a hug. I'll give you a hug for that. That's nice.
Yeah, we appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, but there's many things that we could have touched upon with fear. We could go really, really deep and explore the kind of structure and the wiring and the toxicity for health and everything that could come along with a state of fear within the body. It produces rather nasty toxins and everything else if they're not expelled, if they're not used, etc.
But there's also the dampening of the solar plexus. Right, you know, the part of the body energetically that radiates like a sun.
Mm-hmm.
When you carry fear, what that tends to do is to lessen that emission. It dampens it. Makes you wonder, you know, if you create a system that is governed by fear, is it possible that you are aware of the light aspect, the sun, the internal sun of each? Is it the fact that you are aware of that, but because you are a brilliant and beyond advanced in comparison to our humble selves, it's not possible that one may have the ability to utilize that for the benefit of? Is it the way of, because you know you can even speak to the animals, agree with them, communicate with them, and get on with them, and everything's harmonious, right, in their own way. Or you can herd them. And one thing I noticed about herding is that it's not an animal's choice. They're not being given a choice. They're being shown a particular direction to go. Whereas big cats, if you have any kind of relationship with tigers and stuff, you're not herding them in anywhere. If you can actually touch them, then yeah, you're going in there knowing that, boy, as long as I'm cool, as long as I maintain that true relationship, that true authentic link, I'll be fine. The minute you lose that, you shit yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Indeed, animals can sense fear just as much as human. Energy never lies.
Well, we can say because fear, it's, if we look at the frequency spectrum, it's a lower frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Animals peak on frequency.
There you go. Energy never lies. Energy never lies. Gentlemen, we could continue this conversation. We really could. We could explore this for days, I think, this idea of fear and the toxic environment that it can produce inside the human body. And also the mental brain damage that can take place if a person is constantly in a state of fear. It actually rewires the synaptic and neuro connections within the brain.
Well, you see, brother, that's the reason why this is only part one.
Tune in
next week for part 2.
Well done. That adds us up for another episode. That certainly adds us up for another episode. But gentlemen, I am going to have to disappear in a minute. I really am. As much as I love you, I'd love to continue the conversation, but I am going to have to go.
Yes, we are.
It naturally went so close. So, yeah, it's a lot more to speak about. So tune up for the next episode.
Tune up or tune in?
Tune in, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Well, tune up as well, because the higher the frequency, the more you can.
Ooh, I like what you did there. Oh, yeah, I like what you did there, man. It's very good, very good. Good save.
Yeah, so...
And Shilton saves the ball again.
And I want to say thank you to both of you and to the listeners, as I am part of your journey, you're part of mine. So thank you for everything.
I love that.
I'm on my own journey, mate. Keep out of that. Just joking.
Keep me out of your shit.
Yeah. Fuck that. It's all muddy and splashy over there. Fuck that.
That being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. You know, I'm not going to put any disclaimers out there. I'm not going to apologize for anything I've said. But we do accept that some of the points and some of the views that are expressed here on the House of Lords are hurtful, and some of you may be triggered. I just have to remind you, remember the flow state with what's on the pinboard, which was you. So check yourself. Love and light you all. Absolutely brilliant. Right, gents.
Love and
Until
light.
next time.
Until next time.
Next time.
I had to open the app to close it and say goodbye and everything.
He left.
See you later, mate.
See you later, man.